Chapter 520. Di Junbai's expression was serious. That's true. If Di Hao Hien asks you, just tell him the truth, okay? That's for sure. Why would I lie? Although Tang Bao felt that Di Junbai would definitely help him, he was relieved to hear him say that. Thank you, Brother Junbai. If you really want to thank me, why don't you treat me to a meal? I treated you 2 days ago, so you should return the favor. Di Junbai said with a smile. Okay, I'll treat you to a meal sometime. Tang Bao said, I'll wait for you. After Di Junbai said that gently, he felt that something was wrong behind him, so he quickly turned around. His hand was still on the phone, and he was slightly stunned to see Di Haoyan appear behind him. Brother, who are you talking to on the phone? As the leader of T, he would not ask about his subordinates' private matters. However, at this moment, Di Haoyan asked with a deep and expressionless face. Even Tang Bao, who was on the other end of the line, could hear his deep and intimidating voice. He was so scared that his face turned pale, and he quickly hung up the phone. Di Haoyan, why was he with Di Junbai? Impossible. If Di Junbai was with Di Haoyan, he would not have called her so casually. That meant that Di Haoyan suddenly appeared when they were on the phone. This kind of panic was no less than Di Haoyan's sudden appearance in front of her. Do you want to say it yourself? Or do you want me to see it on your phone? Di Haoyan asked coldly. Tang Bao, brother, don't misunderstand, it's just a phone call. You went out for a meal 2 days ago? Why didn't I know about it? Di Haoyan stared at Di Junbai without blinking. The coldness in his eyes could almost crush a person. Well, that day when you went to my house for dinner, I happened to see Tang Bao outside tea. She seemed very sad, so I asked her to have dinner with me. After that, I went back. Di Junbai told the truth. Di Haoyan looked at him expressionlessly, but his whole body was so cold that it seemed as if ice would fall from the air. Then Di Haoyan walked into the elevator without saying a word. The elevator doors closed, and the red numbers above kept jumping down. Di Junbai raised his head and stared at the closed elevator doors expressionlessly. For the Tang Bao, a few hours felt like death by 1,000 cuts. From the company to the castle, in the end. It was no different from asking her to die. But could she run? He couldn't. Not only could she not run away, but she also had to return to the castle on time so that she would not appear guilty. But for this kind of thing, even if she could not be guilty, she could not be afraid. Especially when facing Di Haoyan. Entering the hall, the light was dimmer than usual, just like a person's mood. Some were hot, some were cold, some were bright, and some were gray. Tang Bao looked up and saw Di Haoyan sitting alone on the sofa. He looked straight ahead. The television was not on, and the servants were not around. It was so quiet that he could almost hear his own heart beating every minute. The pressure in the air was terrible, as if something was about to tear it apart. Even Tang Bao was affected. His body was in pain, as if it was being torn apart. Tang Bao walked toward the sofa in the hall. The closer he got, the clearer he could see the outline of Di Haoyan's face. The lines were as sharp as a knife. Di Haoyan, have you eaten? Why are the lights in the hall not on? Tang Bao asked carefully. Di Haoyan turned his face slowly. His dark eyes, which were darker than the light in the hall, looked at Tang Bao, but they were several times sharper than usual. You seem to be back later than yesterday. What did you do? His voice was so low and calm that no emotion could be heard. I didn't do anything. I just stayed in the company to work. I came back directly after work. You're not lying? No. Tang Bao did leave the company directly. Maybe it was because of fear, so he took some time. You didn't do it before? Di Haoyan asked. Tang Bao was stunned. He instinctively thought of the call he made to Di Junbai today. What did he say to Di Junbai? His mind was in a mess. There should not be anything that would make Di Haoyan suspicious, right? Moreover, he believed that Di Junbai would not say anything to Di Haoyan. Therefore, Tang Bao calmed his uneasy emotions and said, No, you're still lying to me. Di Haoyan casually smashed the ashtray next to him. The ashtray shattered with a bang. The force was so strong that the fragments seemed to explode. Tang Bao only felt a pain on the back of his hand. Then a warm liquid flowed out. She knew that the back of her hand had been broken by the fragments. However, she did not move. She did not see how broken it was. At this moment, she was so frightened by Di Hao Ian's anger that her whole body was trembling and her legs were weak. Not many people could withstand Di Hao Ian's anger and ruthless aura. She felt a pain in her jaw. It was clamped by Di Hao Ian's rough and strong hands. It was mixed with Di Hao Ian's efforts. Tang Bao felt that his jaw was about to break, just like the smashed ashtray. Then he pulled her back to the closest distance in front of Di Hao Ian. Their lips were about to touch. But this was not a kiss. It was fear. Di Hao Ian, I'm not lying to you. Tang Bao was in pain. She struggled to break free from Di Hao Ian's hands that were holding her jaw, but he could not move at all. Di Hao Ian's grip was so strong that even men could not resist it, let alone her. No, didn't you go to dinner with Di Junbai 2 days ago? Tang Bao's pained face suddenly stiffened. Di Hao Ian's vision was clear even in the dim darkness. You have nothing to say? Di Hao Ian, I did have dinner with Di Junbai that day. I came back after dinner. Since you had dinner, why did you come back for another meal? Di Hao Ian asked. When he saw that Tang Bao did not speak, he roared, Speak! I just didn't want you to misunderstand. Are you sure you're not guilty? Di Hao Ian's anger was transferred to his hands. He squeezed her jaw even harder. Ouch! Tang Bao groaned in pain. Her eyes were filled with tears. Di Hao Ian, I was just afraid that you would misunderstand, so I did that. Is that so? If you're really fine, why would you come up with such a method? Or am I easy to fool because I lost my memory? I didn't think that way, really. Tang Bao did that purely because she did not want Di Hao Ian to misunderstand. Then what do you want me to think? That you and Di Junbai are innocent? I'm thinking, why did I let you stay by my side before I lost my memory? Maybe I was really attracted to you at first. So I had a possessive desire to carve my name on your lower back and ask for an agreement. Later, when I found out about your betrayal, I wanted to divorce you. In order to divorce you, I chased after you. Is that right? Di Hao Ian's question sounded like a rhetorical question, but in fact, it was an affirmative sentence. If Tang Bao had not lost her memory. Chapter 5:21. She could not find the slightest opening to defend herself. Really, there was none at all. That was why she stood there in a daze and did not react for a long time. Even the pain in her jaw dulled. She finally knew why Di Hao Ian's attitude toward her had suddenly changed after that night. It was all because of the words on her waist. However, things took a turn for the worse. Something happened to Di Junbai. Why did she and Di Hao Ian have to fight like this? It was just like what one Malay said. No matter how wrong she felt and how far-fetched her defense was, she still had to explain. Di Hao Ian, you're wrong. It's not like that. There's nothing between Di Junbai and me. You forgot that my first time was with you. There's nothing between Di Junbai and me. That night, I bled and you scolded me. You said that I didn't know if I was intimate with Di Junbai or not. I really didn't know. We only found out the truth after you touched me. Because I was drugged and in a daze, I didn't know it all. It was also a misunderstanding that took a long time to resolve. Only the two of us knew about this. No one else knew, so we didn't tell anyone, Tang Bao said hurriedly. She was afraid that if it was too short, Di Hao Ian would not understand. She was also afraid that if it was too long, Di Hao Ian would not have the patience to listen. Fortunately, Di Hao Ian had heard everything she said before she was done. She looked at him with helplessness and hope. Di Hao Ian did hear it, but his face was expressionless. His dark eyes were unusually cold, as if there was a deep hostility in them. Was this the truth from Tang Bao's mouth? Or was this another lie from her? Should he believe her? But the matter of Tang Bao and Di Junbai having dinner was a real lie. Why are you always explaining to me? Where did all these misunderstandings come from? Di Hao Ian pushed Tang Bao away forcefully and looked at her coldly and disdainfully. Tang Bao staggered a few steps back and almost fell to the ground. He looked at Di Hao Ian not far away in the dim light. When that gaze looked over, it was as if everything that it touched would be frozen. Di Hao Ian, why can't you believe me? Tang Bao's eyes were hot, and his tears fell uncontrollably. It slid warmly across her cheek. Di Hao Ian's black eyes were cold and emotionless. He turned around and left the hall without looking at her again. Tang Bao stared blankly as the stalwart figure walked further and further away until he could no longer see it. She felt that the darkness in the hall had its benefits. At least he couldn't see her tears. He couldn't see her sorry state. She had long expected that the outcome would not be good, but when it really happened, she still could not accept it. Tang Bao didn't know how long she had been crying silently. She must have shed a lot of tears. When she came back to her senses, the entire castle was silent. She moved her legs. Both of them were numb. Then, she left the hall step by step and went upstairs. When she was about to reach the bedroom, she saw a servant coming out of Di Hao Ian's room. The person in charge of the work was Lian. Zhongli stood beside him, looking at her as if he was even more upset than she was. Tang Bao saw the servant moving her things out of the room. She hurriedly asked, "What's the meaning of this?" Lian's expression calmed down and said, "Young madam, this is young master's order. You may have to stay in the previous room." Tang Bao hurriedly entered the room. Inside, she saw Di Hao Ian's tall figure standing in front of the window with his back facing her. "Di Hao Ian, why did you move my things out?" Tang Bao asked. She stepped forward and pleaded, "Why did you do this? I don't want to live separately." Di Hao Ian turned around, the expression on his face cold and frightening. "You don't want to? Isn't this what you want? It's more convenient for you to do despicable things behind my back, and you don't have to think about how to hide it." I didn't. Tang Bao said agitatedly, sobbing out. She had to control herself and not lose control. She grabbed Di Hao Ian's arm with both hands, as if she was conveying her helplessness and grievance. "Di Hao Ian, I beg you, believe me." Di Hao Ian shook off her hand and walked towards the bed. He directly tore off the 3 obediences for virtues and the agreement that was stuck on the wall. There was a tearing sound. Then he tore it apart. It was still sealed, but Di Hao Ian easily tore it apart. Tang Bao looked at it in shock. It was as if it wasn't a piece of paper that was torn, but her heart. It was torn into pieces. By the time she came to her senses, Di Hao Ian had already torn it apart, and the pieces fell to the ground. Di Hao Ian's chiseled face turned slightly, and he said sharply and coldly, "You can go out now." That pair of black eyes was so cold that there was no room for negotiation at all. Tang Bao's slender body swayed in place, as if she couldn't bear all the weakness. She walked over slowly. She stopped beside Di Hao Ian. She lowered her head and looked at the wreckage on the ground. She paused for a moment, squatted down, and picked up all the pieces. Then, she left the master bedroom without looking at Di Hao Ian. Di Hao Ian stood there without moving. His face was expressionless, and his black eyes were cold. It was as if anyone who approached him would be hurt by his hostility. Tang Bao returned to the previous room, sat in front of the desk, put the pieces on the table, and stared at them blankly. She could hear the servants coming in and out of the room to move things. Tears were welling up in Tang Bao's eyes, but she resisted the urge to cry. Actually, why did she have to move things like this? Everything she needed in this room was here. She didn't lack anything. Since Di Hao Ian insisted on doing this, it was probably because he didn't want to see her things in his room anymore. He must have thought that something had happened between her and Di Junbai, so he hated her so much. Tang Bao understood very well. "Young madam, the things have been moved." Zhongli walked over, hesitated for a moment, and said, "I know. Sorry to trouble you," Tang Bao said in a low voice. The volume of her voice made people feel uncomfortable. But Zhongli was just a servant. What else could she say? No matter what he said, nothing would change. Then she went out and gently closed the door. She didn't know if it was because of the vibration of the door, but the tears that had been hanging on her eyelids dripped on the table. Her slender white fingers slightly poked at the paper pieces. She thought that by trying to get close to Di Hao Ian, one day he would look at her seriously and believe in her. But no. Instead, it became worse. When she saw the things being moved out, she thought that Di Hao Ian was going to kick her out. But in the end, they were separated. So Should she be relieved that Di Hao Ian was not too heartless to her? Chapter 522. Did this mean that the problem did not lie in the presence of Lan Wanru, but in herself? Tang Bao was dejected and in despair. The text message on her phone rang. Tang Bao came back to her senses and took out her phone from her pocket. It was a message from Wan Malay, asking her how she was doing. Tang Bao thought for a while, and a few drops of tears fell on the phone. She wiped the screen and sent a message to Wan Malay. I'm fine. It was midnight. Tang Bao left the desk. He swept all the fragments into the drawer and closed the drawer. He pretended that nothing had happened. Tang Bao took a shower and went to bed. She opened and closed her eyes, but all she saw was Di Hao Ian's cold and heartless black eyes. What should she do? Tang Bao told herself. This was because Di Hao Ian was sick. There was not only a demon living in Di Hao Ian's body, but also something else. That was why he became so scary. No, he had always been scary. It was just that he no longer indulged her, Tang Bao dreamed. She dreamed that she had returned to the past. The scene of her and Di Hao Ian together. It was like a movie clip that had been edited. It was very moving, and the experience was heart-wrenching. When she woke up, the corners of her eyes were full of tears, and even the pillow was wet. It turned out that when one was deeply sad, they would cry even when they were asleep. Tang Bao looked at the time. She had overslept. However, she was not in a hurry to find Di Hao Ian. She felt that it might not be a good thing to meet Di Hao Ian now. Moreover, she had not adjusted her mentality at all. What kind of expression should she have when she saw Di Hao Ian? Silence? Talk. Tang Bao's emotions had not settled down after a night. She was afraid that she would not be able to control her emotions and argue with Di Hao Ian. Tang Bao got out of bed slowly, washed up, and put on her clothes. When she went downstairs, she did not see Di Hao Ian. Unsurprisingly, he entered the restaurant. Young madam, the young master went to tea. Zhongli was afraid that Tang Bao would be unhappy, so he wanted to say that the young master wasn't around because of work and nothing else. He wanted to make the Tang Bao feel better. Tang Bao understood her good intentions and said, I'm fine. I have to go to the company after I finish eating. After eating, Tang Bao left the castle and went to his company. Wan Malay saw Tang Bao enter the office in low spirits and asked, Are you okay? Not bad. Wan Malay didn't see anything good about it. Yesterday, when Tang Bao replied to her that he was fine, she felt that something was wrong. With the young master's style after losing his memory, how could he let go of Tang Bao so easily? Tang Bao sat in front of his desk and tried to forget everything with his work. No one knew how long he had been working. Wan Malay walked over and said, Tang Bao, it's time to eat. Tang Bao was slightly stunned. So fast. What time is it? It's almost 12 o'clock. Tang Bao looked at Wan Malay and said, Go and eat. I don't want to eat. That won't do. If you don't eat, I won't eat either, Wan Malay said. Tang Bao stood up helplessly. Then let's go. During the meal, Tang Bao didn't eat much, but Wan Malay watched and felt that it was better than not eating at all. Tang Bao, you're just like that time. Because of Di Junbai's incident, you're in the same pain as Di Hao Ian's Cold War. Tang Bao, have you ever thought of giving up? Wan Malay asked. Tang Bao slowly raised his head and looked at Wan Malay with the rice in his mouth. Then he swallowed it without chewing. You said giving up? When those two words came out of Tang Bao's mouth, it was as if they were connected to his heart. It was painful. I don't want to see you in so much pain, Wan Malay said. Looking at Tang Bao's blank expression, he couldn't bear it. In the past, I always felt that you and the young emperor were a couple. No matter how sad or depressed you were, in the end, the young emperor still indulged you and doted on you. His possessiveness towards you made me envious. But now, I'm afraid that you won't be able to persevere. When the time comes, it will hurt you instead. If you've always had delicious food in your mouth, one day, you won't be able to eat it anymore. You'll miss that taste very much. Di Hao Ian's kindness to me was delicious food. I ate it every day, and I even ate too much, which made me feel helpless. But now, I can't eat it even if I want to. Other than missing it and working hard to get it, I don't know how else I can save myself, Tang Bao said sadly. Then he looked at Wan Malay, who felt sorry for him, and said, You said that you're afraid that I won't be able to persevere, but I know that I have to persevere because Di Hao Hien is only sick. When he recovers, everything will be fine. Then how long are you going to wait? Wan Malay asked. It had been so long, but Di Hao Hien didn't show any signs of recovering his memory. It felt like it was getting worse. If he continued to wait, he didn't know what unknown and terrifying things would happen. I don't know, but Malay, I'll keep waiting. I won't give up on Di Hao Hien. Tang Bao's eyes were filled with pain, but he was still so determined. Wan Malay could understand Tang Bao's state of mind very well. Di Hao Hien was indeed sick, and it was caused by Tang Bao. Tang Bao not only felt guilty, but he also didn't want to abandon Di Hao Hien at this time. Otherwise, what was the difference between flying away in the face of disaster? It had to be said that Wan Malay's advice just now was selfish. She didn't want to see Tang Bao being tortured by Di Hao Hien every day. In the worst-case scenario, what if he's like this for the rest of his life? Wan Malay asked. Tang Bao was silent for a long time before she raised her head. Her eyes were clear and resolute. That's my fate. Fate to be captured by Di Hao Hien. Fate to fall in love with Di Hao Hien. Fate to be forgotten by Di Hao Hien. Fate to be ignored and lonely for the rest of his life. If this was really fate, what was the use of forcing it? Tang Bao couldn't help but find joy in the midst of bitterness. He felt that he was really brave. Not leaving and not abandoning was a very noble character. What else could Wan Malay do but sigh? She knew that she couldn't persuade Tang Bao. When she wasn't with Tang Bao, Wan Malay called Hiju. I say, wasn't yesterday's incident very serious? Very seriously. How serious was it? No one in the castle dared to go near the young master, Hiju said. The young master and the young madam slept in separate rooms last night. The young madam was chased out. Wan Malay was hateful. Why did Hiju have to be so clear? Was he afraid that she couldn't feel the humiliation and helplessness? If someone is behind this, the consequences won't be optimistic. Hiju said that it wasn't optimistic. It must be more terrifying than Wan Malay thought. The whole thing was, of course, started by Yusong Wan. She even knew that once it started, it couldn't be stopped. Did she have to wait for Di Hao Hien and Tang Bao to reconcile? Chapter 5:23. This was absolutely intolerable for Di Hao Hien. In the end, after crossing Di Hao Hien's bottom line, they could get a divorce. Tang Bao returned to the castle on time after work. As soon as she entered the hall, she saw Lan Wanru and Di Hao Hien sitting in the hall. She stopped in her tracks. When Lan Wanru saw Tang Bao, he seemed to greet him warmly. Tang Bao, you're back? I accompanied Brother Hao Hien to the hospital for a checkup this afternoon. The doctor said that there's no need for a checkup anymore. He's completely recovered. You don't have to worry anymore. Tang Bao looked at Di Hao Hien expressionlessly. Since she entered the door, Di Hao Hien had not even looked at her from the corner of his eye. After Lan Wanru said that, he also faced Lan Wanru and did not look at her. This was his attitude at the moment. He indulged Lan Wanru in everything. Tang Bao felt that his patience was really extraordinary. Perhaps he had gotten used to having a mistress in front of his eyes. Therefore, at the dinner table, Tang Bao ate with a normal expression. But shouldn't Di Hao Hien be in a good mood with Lan Wanru around? Why was he so cold? Even the dining room was covered with a layer of ice, and the food was getting cold. Tang Bao thought about it and felt that it was right. Perhaps it was because she, the mistress, had ruined their atmosphere. Tang Bao really did not want to have a direct confrontation with Di Hao Hien. Because of her fear of Di Hao Hien, she did not even want to have a negative confrontation now. She would avoid it if she could. Tang Bao finished his dinner in silence, stood up, and left the dining room. Lan Wanru looked at Tang Bao as he stood up and left. Then, he looked at Di Hao Hien's expression. On the surface, they looked the same from beginning to end, but the cold air and pressure in the air were constantly surging, making people afraid. Lan Wanru thought that by coming over, not only would she be able to appease Di Hao Hien's anger, but she had also heard from Yusong Wan that Di Hao Hien had found out about the relationship between Di Junbai and the Tang Bo. Furthermore, when Tang Bao saw her, he would fly into a rage and anger Di Hao Yin once again. Then, things would only get worse for the Tang Bao. She didn't expect Tang Bao to be more patient than she had imagined. After Tang Bao returned to his room, he lay on his bed and stared blankly at the ceiling. Lan Wanru would definitely make fun of him, right? Now that she had left, his relationship with Di Hao Yin had worsened. It was even worse than when Lan Wanru was here. Tang Bao was also very disappointed in himself for failing to live up to his expectations. How did their relationship deteriorate to such a state? In fact, she did not do anything. It was all because of what had happened in the past. Tang Bao lay down for a while and realized that lying down after eating really made his stomach feel uncomfortable. So, he stood up and walked around. When he walked to the balcony and looked down, he saw the rose garden and Lan Wanru's independent figure in the rose garden. What is she doing there? Just as he was wondering, he saw Lan Wanru bend down and reach out to touch the roses. Was she going to do something to the roses? Di Hao Yin had planted those roses for her. She could not let Lan Wanru destroy them. Tang Bao turned around, went downstairs, and ran straight to the rose garden. Behind Lan Wanru. What are you doing? Tang Bao pulled Lan Wanru over. Lan Wanru was pulled back 2 steps. Tang Bao went to check on the roses. It seemed that nothing had happened. However, looking from afar, there were still many roses that had withered, as if they had died from lack of nutrition. Tang Bao's heart sank, and he looked downcast. Why are you so nervous? What can I do to the roses? Even if I don't do anything, they will all die sooner or later. Then, whatever I do will be superfluous. Since they're going to die anyway, I think letting them wither slowly and die will make you sadder. What do you think? Lan Wanru said with a faint smile. Lan Wanru was right. In the past, as long as one rose withered, it would definitely be replaced with a new one. There would never be a single rose that would wither. Such thoughts proved Di Hao Yin's feelings for her. But now, seeing the roses wither without anyone caring about them, it meant that Tang Bao was just like these roses. Other than waiting for them to wither, there was no other way. Tang Bao quickly recovered from the pain in his heart. He turned around, looked at the calm and composed Lan Wanru, and said, "You have the guts to come to the castle. Aren't you afraid that I'll let Di Hao Yin listen to the recording on my phone?" Lan Wanru's expression changed, and he immediately said, "Tang Bao, you don't have that recording at all, right? I went back and thought about it, and only then did I realize that I was fooled by you." Looking at the silent and cold Tang Bao, he continued, "I actually fell for your trick. You're really scheming. You really think that I don't have a recording here?" Tang Bao asked without changing his expression. Lan Wanru's expression stiffened, and he glared at Tang Bao. "Well then, how about we make a bet? I'll go find Di Hao Yin right now. You can watch or listen from his side. See if I really have a recording on my phone." Tang Bao sneered, raised his hand, and beckoned to a servant not far away. The servant immediately ran over. Tang Bao ordered, "Go and call Di Hao Yin over. Just say that Lan Wanru and I were fighting in the rose garden. Tell him to come over." The servant was stunned. He looked at Tang Bao, and then at Lan Wanru. He was confused, but he still turned around and prepared to call Di Hao Yin. Seeing this, Lan Wanru immediately stopped him. "Wait a minute. What are you waiting for?" Tang Bao asked. "Don't you want to know if I'm lying to you?" Lan Wanru's expression became particularly ugly, and then he forced a smile. "What are you worried about? I'm just here for a meal. Do you need to be so scared, as if you've seen a wolf or a tiger?" She was very suspicious of the existence of Tang Bao's recording. She also thought about it thoroughly at home. She couldn't figure out Tang Bao's methods. In the end, she thought that she could trick Tang Bao, but she didn't expect that it would be useless. Could it be that her suspicions were wrong? She really didn't dare to take the risk. "Wolf or tiger?" Tang Bao laughed. "You're a sick cat, right?" And Tang Bao dared to say that because he was sure that she wouldn't dare to take the risk. Lan Wanru's eyes were filled with anger. "I finally know why you were born like this. God knows that you're a vicious woman, so he made you suffer for the rest of your life. Don't you think I'm right?" Lan Wanru was so angry that his face alternated between green and white. Tang Bao, regardless of whether you're right or not, Brother Hao Yin will never be with you again. Maybe from the beginning, Brother Hao Yin married you only to repay your kindness. Now, there's no love between husband and wife. So what are you so proud of? My health is not good, but the person that Brother Hao Yin wants is me. After saying these heroic words, Lan Wanru turned around and left. Tang Bao didn't leave. In front of her eyes were roses, and in her ears were Lan Wanru's words, which pierced her heart. Was that really the case? Chapter 524. But she always had the illusion that Di Hao Yin treated her differently. In fact, most of the time, Tang Bao always had the illusion. Di Hao Yin did not remember her after he lost his memory, and it was always a knot in her heart. She had tried to suppress and forget, but now Lan Wanru had once again dug out her knot. It was bloody. In front of Lan Wanru, she could not take advantage of him. She won in terms of face, but lost in terms of inner strength. Tang Bao did not know how long she stood in the rose garden, so long that her legs were numb, and she sat by the flower bed. Anyway, her eyes were fixed on the roses. Didn't people get snow blindness when they stared at the white snow? When Tang Bao came back to her senses, she felt that she had flower blindness. She even felt a tingling sensation. She could only close her eyes for the time being. After a long time, she opened her eyes and felt fine. Tang Bao stood up and left the rose garden. As soon as she entered the hall, Zhongli came over and whispered, "Young madam." Lan Chrysanthemum left. Tang Bao was not surprised. Lan Wanru wanted to leave, but Di Hao Yin must have tried to persuade him to stay. After all, he had just arrived and only had a meal. How could he get rid of his lovesickness? Fortunately, she had a fake recording in her hands and scared Lan Wanru away. She knew that Di Hao Yin's heart was with Lan Wanru, but she did not want to see Lan Wanru in the castle. The air was filled with a surge of invasion. Tang Bao came back to her senses and looked up to see Di Hao Yin approaching her. Zhongli hurriedly went down. "You chased Wanru away?" Di Hao Yin asked coldly. Tang Bao's heart sank. She endured the pain and asked, "Did Lan Wanru say that?" Seeing that Di Hao Yin did not speak, he pulled a long face. "Since you didn't say anything, is it okay for you to come over and question me like this?" After he finished speaking, he did not wait for Di Hao Yin to speak, nor did anyone know what he would say. Presumably, it would not be anything good. She turned around and walked upstairs. Di Hao Yin's face was as dark as ink and as cold as ice. He turned around and looked at the slender figure heading upstairs. The cold air around him was frightening. His eyes were filled with hostility. The one who did the wrong thing was the Tang Bao, and the one who betrayed him was also the Tang Bao. Was this her attitude? For no reason, Di Hao Yin felt angry and irritable at Tang Bao's alienation. He couldn't figure out why he was so irritable. That's right, it must be because his dignity was not to be offended. Just as Tang Bao reached the corner of the stairs, he felt a grip on his arm. He felt a sharp pain as he was pulled over. "Ah, if you didn't chase her away, why did she leave?" Di Hao Yin asked with a sullen face. Tang Bao's wrist could not withstand the strength of Di Hao Yin's tiger claws. She felt that her bones were about to be crushed. It was so painful that she tried to pry his hand away. How would I know why she left? Di Hao Yin could not pry his hand away no matter how hard he tried. If you want to know so much, why don't you go to her house and ask her? Damn it, if she was willing to tell me, do you think I would come and ask you? Di Hao Yin was really angry at Tang Bao's attitude. He shook her off forcefully. Tang Bao was already struggling. She did not expect Di Hao Yin to shake her off again. She was extremely unstable and took a few steps back. At this moment, she was at the corner of the stairs. Behind her was the stairs. Tang Bao's foot missed a step. Her center of gravity fell back. Tang Bao instinctively wanted to grab Di Hao Yin. However, not only did Di Hao Yin miss her, but she also missed the railing. It was a critical moment. She thought that she would not be able to escape this disaster this time, and it was caused by Di Hao Yin. Di Hao Yin was cold-blooded and indifferent to her. He would definitely not save her. Tang Bao closed her eyes. When she was ready to take the fatal blow, she found that her falling body had stopped. Her head was in a daze. She slowly opened her eyes. Her vision flashed, and she was in a safe place. Tang Bao stared blankly at the sharp face that was close to her. Di Hao Ian, how did he save her? Didn't he hate her very much? Did he hate her for chasing away Lan Wanru? Why did he do that? There seemed to be some kind of emotion condensing in the air. It was so quiet that she could only hear the heavy breathing and the frantic beating of her heart. The arm around her waist loosened. Di Hao Ian turned and left without saying a word. Tang Bao stood there. She could still feel the tightness around her waist and the heat seeping into her clothes. She looked at Di Hao Ian, who was walking away. She neither called out to him nor said anything. She just looked at him in confusion, until he could no longer be seen. She heard the sound of the door closing. Di Hao Ian returned to the room. After the door closed, he stood there stiffly. When Tang Bao fell, Di Hao Ian felt that after Tang Bao's unforgivable betrayal to him, it would not be too much to give her the death penalty. Therefore, he did not want to save Tang Bao. He even wanted to see how ferocious she would be after she fell. However, his eyes were in a daze, his head was in a daze, and his heart was in pain. Then his limbs seemed to be uncontrollably hugging Tang Bao's soft body. Why was he doing this? He hated Tang Bao so much. She betrayed him and lied to him to have dinner with Di Junbai. Why did he still want to save her? Was there a need for her to live? Even if he had lost his memory, he knew that his methods were cruel. He would not show mercy to those who deserved to die. But what did he do? He tolerated Tang Bao again and broke his principles. Di Hao Yin did not know what kind of person he was anymore. His head began to hurt in confusion. The pain made Di Hao Yin's body shake violently. He knelt on the carpet with a painful expression. He gasped for breath. The sweat on his forehead dripped down along the bulging blue veins and dripped onto the carpet. Di Hao Yin's dark eyes were like a hurricane. He stood up and smashed everything in the room. It seemed that only venting like this could make him feel better and clear his mind. The servants outside heard the loud noise inside and were shocked. They quickly ran out and found Lian. "Supervisor, something bad has happened. What's wrong with the young master?" The servants were all arranged by Lian. Naturally, he knew that the servants were waiting not far from Di Hao Yin's room. "I heard a loud noise in the young master's room. It seems like he's smashing something." Zhongli looked at Lian. He did not understand why he was smashing things. He had just quarreled with Tang Bao. Was it because he was angry with Tang Bao? Lian did not dare to delay and went upstairs. Zhang Li and the servants followed. Before they reached the door of the room, the loud noise came again. The thing that was smashed must be a large one. A smaller one wouldn't be able to shake the ground so clearly. "Supervisor, what should we do?" Zhang Li asked in a low voice. "Just stay here," Lian said. "Stay here? Don't do anything? When it's quiet inside, we'll go in and pack up." Lian thought for a moment. "We might need to buy more things." Zhongli looked at the closed door. He did not know what would happen. Chapter 525. Oh, Zhongli turned around and left in a daze. But when she reached the stairs, she stopped and went to Tang Bao's room. When she walked to the door of Tang Bao's room, it was especially quiet inside. Then he shouldn't have broken anything. Just as she was about to leave, the door opened. Tang Bao opened the door and was shocked to see Zhongli standing at the door. "Why are you standing at my door?" "Young madam, I'm fine." Zhongli paused. "Young madam, what's the matter?" "It's nothing, but did you feel an earthquake?" Tang Bao asked. "When I was about to take a shower just now, I felt an earthquake, but it was gone. Then it came again, so I didn't dare to take a shower," Tang Bao said. If the earth shook while she was taking a shower, would she have to run naked for her life? "Ah, young madam, it's not an earthquake." Zhang Li's mouth twitched. "Then what is it?" Tang Bao was puzzled. "It's..." Zhang Li pointed to the side. "The young master is smashing things in his room." "What did you say?" Tang Bao couldn't believe what she heard. "Why is he smashing things?" "I don't know." Tang Bao didn't ask anymore and hurried to Di Hao Yin's room. Looking at Lian and then at the tightly shut door, Tang Bao felt for a moment, but didn't hear anything. Young madam, the young master should have finished smashing things. Tang Bao looked at Lian dumbfounded. What did Di Hao Ian mean by doing this? He started smashing things when he returned to his room, right? Before returning to his room, he saved her. His cold face was full of gloominess. So, he was unhappy and regretted saving her. So he went back to his room to smash things? The door opened, and Tang Bao and Di Hao Ian looked at each other. Di Hao Ian's black eyes froze for a moment. Then he turned his gaze and looked sharply at Lian. Come in and clean up. Yes, Lian replied. Di Hao Ian did not look at the Tang Bao again. After giving his orders, he went in. After the door was opened, Tang Bao saw the room inside. There was always a big difference between what one imagined and what one saw. Were there any intact ones inside? Had it all turned into ruins? Lian arranged for the servants to go in and out to clean up. When Lian came out again, Tang Bao pulled him back. How is it? Is there anything intact inside? No, all of them. He even smashed the bed. Tang Bao's eyes widened in shock. Lian had not finished his work, so he did not stay. After talking to Tang Bao, he immediately got to work. Tang Bao stood there in a daze. How much strength did it take to smash such a sturdy bed that had just been bought? And Di Hao Ian's strength was something that Tang Bao had never dared to underestimate. In fact, he was often scared to the point of being scared. It was no wonder that she could feel an earthquake when such a heavy object fell. When Tang Bao thought about it, his heart could not help but be filled with sadness. It was obvious how angry Di Hao Ian was because of Lan Wanru's departure. Tang Bao did not stay. Di Hao Ian stood in front of the window, and the servants went in and out to clean up. When he turned around, it was Tang Bao who had turned around and left. His black eyes were stunned. Luo Luoli sat in the classroom and read her notes. There were circles and dots that Gu Linshan had drawn for her. Those were all questions that she found difficult to understand in the past. Luo Luoli's other subjects were fine, but mathematics was simply killing her. It had been like this since elementary school. Other people had a hard time grilling 100 marks, but she had a hard time passing exams. She even played around all day and did not make any progress. However, this was not the case for Gu Linshan. She did not even have the chance to play around. She obediently went out late and came back early, studying and taking exams obediently. It was as if he wanted to raise her like a lady from a wealthy family. Last time, when Luo Meiwan found out that she had scored well in the exams, she was immediately overjoyed. Her cell phone rang. Luo Luoli took it out and glanced at it. It was Luo Meiwan. She went out of the classroom to answer the call. Mom, what's wrong? The house has been moved. Come over for dinner after school today. I'll call your uncle later and ask him to come over for dinner. Luo Luoli did not have any objections to dinner, but she did not want Gu Linshan to go. Of course, she knew that asking Gu Linshan to go for dinner was not just out of courtesy, but also to thank him for taking care of her. However, Luo Luoli did not want to go with Gu Linshan. She hurriedly said, I'll call him. You? Yes. It's better if I tell him. I'm usually close to my uncle, so it's easier to talk to him. What if he doesn't want to go? Luo Luoli found an excuse. That's true. Call him then. After Luo Luoli hung up, she called Gu Linshan. What's up? It's like this. My mom called me and asked me to go over for dinner. I won't be back for dinner tonight. That's it? Gu Linshan asked. Yes, I'll be back after dinner. It won't be long. Luo Luoli calmed her beating heart and said, Got it. After hanging up the phone, Luo Luoli was so excited that she almost jumped 3 feet into the air. However, after jumping, she was a little worried. Would Gu Linshan be there when she went back for dinner? Just like last time, he would catch her off guard. Most importantly, if she went, wouldn't her lie be exposed? When that time came, wouldn't she be tortured by Gu Linshan until there was nothing left of her? Therefore, when she went back, Luo Luoli bent over and entered. Luo Meiwan, who was preparing dinner, saw her sneaky daughter and asked, What are you doing? My uncle didn't come, right? Didn't you say that your uncle couldn't come because he had something to do and that he would only be free next time? Luo Meiwan looked at her strangely. Did this mean that he wasn't coming? Loli Luo immediately straightened her back like a cat and walked in confidently. Yes, Uncle has been very busy recently. I thought that no matter how busy he would still have to eat dinner. I didn't expect him to be so busy. Luo Meiwan regretted picking a date. If you want to invite him next time, you have to ask in advance. As she spoke, she went to serve the dishes. Luo Loli stuck out her tongue. She had told Luo Meiwan on the phone that Gu Linshin couldn't come over and would have to wait until next time. Although lying wasn't very good, when she thought about what Gu Linshin had done to her, she felt that lying was as easy as sneezing. Loli Luo ate the food with relish and a satisfied look on her face. Luo Meiwan wanted to laugh. Look at you. Eat slower. Don't tell me you don't eat well at your uncle's place. Of course, she knew that it would be much better than here, but she was just laughing at her. Okay, but I like the taste of my mother's food more. I haven't eaten here in a few days, Luo Luoli said. Come over if you want to eat. Chapter 5:26. The streets here are not busy. Why would Gu Linshin be here? She couldn't help but have some bad suspicions. Are you good looking? Gu Linshin threw her a cold look. Luo Luoli was indignant. If I'm not good looking, why did you kiss me? What did you say? I didn't hear you. I said, thank you for picking me up, Luo Luoli said with her brightest smile. She didn't dare to say it again. She was annoyed at herself for mentioning the kiss. What if she triggered Gu Linshin's thoughts? Wouldn't her mouth be in trouble again? Luo Luoli instinctively pursed her lips and didn't dare to let go. It felt very dangerous. Gu Linshin looked at her. His deep black eyes moved, but his face was still expressionless. He wanted to kiss her. Would it work if she pursed her lips? Naive, but he liked her naivety. It was more interesting. The car drove for about an hour before stopping. Luo Luoli didn't look out the car window and got out of the car. After getting out of the car, she realized that this wasn't her family's mansion, nor was it a busy street. Instead, it was a sea. It faced the mountains and the sea. There was nothing else. The sea breeze blew. Luo Luoli looked out at the sea. The wind blew her afro hair. There was nothing beautiful about it. It looked more like a black dandelion. Gu Linshin, why did you bring me here? Luo Luoli asked. This will be a resort in the future. Which side of the villa do you want to build on? Gu Linshin asked. Luo Luoli was stunned. She pointed her slender finger at herself. Are you asking me? Is there a third person here? Gu Linshin looked at her coldly. Yes. Luo Luoli pointed at the bodyguards behind her. When she saw Gu Linshin's emotionless but cold eyes, she quickly said, Why are you asking me? Do I have the right to do whatever I want? Tell me about it, Gu Linshin said, looking straight ahead. Luo Luoli looked around and said, I like to open the door and see the blue sea. I like to lie on the bed and see the blue sky. Behind me are flowers and plants full of spring. Behind the flowers and plants is a forest. Everything else is easy to deal with, but the forest is difficult. Loli looked at the silent Gu Linshin and said, Gu Linshin, what do you think? I like the woods too. Luo Luoli was stunned. Did she hit the nail on the head of Gu Linshin? This came as a surprise to her. However, according to Luo Meiwan, Gu Linshin was much more desolate in the Middle East than here. Then he built an oasis. It was very, very big, like a kingdom. Luo Luoli knew that the Middle East was a little chaotic, but she heard that Gu Linshin had gone there in his early 20s to do business. He occupied the highlands with ambition and was like a king. Since he was back, he probably wanted this place to be like an oasis resort, right? Otherwise, why would he say that he liked it? Luo Luoli didn't know why, but she felt a little happy that she and Gu Linshin happened to have the same ideas. No matter what, she was still a considerate girl. Luo Luoli was too proud and didn't pay attention to her feet. She missed a step. Gu Linshin, who had been looking at the distance a second ago, suddenly reached out and caught Luo Luoli, who was about to fall. He tightened his arm and pulled her to his waist. Luo Luoli looked up at Gu Linshin in a daze. She didn't know if it was because she was shocked or because she was knocked unconscious by Gu Linshin's strong chest. She was very slow. The sea breeze blew over with a salty smell. The ripples on the surface of the sea were approaching them with strings of ripples. All the scenery became their background, dynamic and static. Gu Linshan's eyes were very deep, so deep that it seemed like he could swallow a person alive, but he also had a good-looking face. Was it true that the more beautiful something was, the more dangerous it was? Luo Luoli's little heart pounded. Her divine sense also returned to its original position and immediately separated from Gu Linshan's chest. She looked away evasively. Gu Linshan's expression didn't change, but his eyes seemed to be suppressing something. When Luo Luoli separated from him, he didn't stop her. If he really did stop her, something would definitely happen. He needed to vent his restlessness, especially recently. Luo Luoli felt that the silence in the air was unnatural and unbearable. She could feel how hot her face was. No matter how the sea breeze blew, it was still hot. You're not even going to say thank you? Gu Linshan glanced at Luo Luoli, who was motionless like a statue, and said, "Thank you." Luo Luoli thought unwillingly. I didn't ask you to save me. But she didn't dare to say that. In front of Gu Linshan, she was sometimes so useless. But then again, she felt that what was the point of being so useless? Gu Linshan looked at her slightly lowered face. His deep black eyes shone. When he turned around, he directly put his arm around Luo Luoli's slender shoulders. Let's go. Where are we going? Home. When they got into the car and drove back, Gu Linshan seemed to have just remembered something. He asked, I remembered that today isn't the day to go to your mother's for dinner. Luo Luoli's eyelids twitched. What was the saying? The left eye twitched for fortune, the right eye twitched for disaster. Oh, her right eye twitched. What should she do? A calamity? Could she treat it as a superstition that couldn't be trusted? But what was the uneasiness that was rising in her heart right now? Is it hard to say? Gu Linshan looked at Luo Luoli deeply. Well said, well said. Luo Luoli sorted out her emotions in her heart. She glanced at Gu Linshan's unreadable expression and said, My mother misses me, so she asked me to go for dinner and then go shopping with her. Even though we just met a few days ago, you know that my mother is single now. Sometimes she feels lonely, so she wants her daughter to be by her side. Luo Luoli felt that she was really smart. By saying this, not only did she find a good excuse for dinner tonight, but she also indirectly reminded Gu Linshan that she could go wherever she wanted. Anyway, it was only a few days until her 18th birthday. I see. Gu Linshan seemed to be deep in thought. Luo Luoli's eyes lit up when she saw him deep in thought. But you're a girl, and you're going to get married sooner or later. It's necessary to prepare her mentally for the separation, Gu Linshan said matter-of-factly. Luo Luoli's bright eyes suddenly looked a little dazed. It's precisely because I'm going to get married that I have to spend more time with my mother. What if I find someone to marry when I reach adulthood tomorrow? You know, fate is something that's hard to predict. Ha! Gu Linshan looked at Luo Luoli quietly. Then he suddenly crossed his long legs and looked at Luo Luoli with a threatening gaze. He asked, You want to get married? Luo Luoli was stunned. Chapter 5:27. She had only said that anything was possible. No, I'm still young. There's no rush, Luo Luoli said as she shook her head. Gu Linshan looked out of the window with an unfathomable expression. If you want to date someone in the future, or if you want to get married, just let me know. Why should I tell you? Luo Luoli didn't quite understand. It was more appropriate for her to tell her mother. Gu Linshan looked at her, his dark eyebrows furrowed coldly. His gaze was unfriendly. You don't need my permission to eat, wear, and use my things? Luo Luoli felt that there was nothing wrong with the first part, but wasn't the second part too unreasonable? Why do I need your permission? You're not my mother. Gu Linshan's sharp gaze silenced the rest of her words. Whatever I say is the law. Luo Luoli pursed her lips. Wasn't this too overbearing and unreasonable? Do you think I'm overbearing and unreasonable? Gu Linshan's dark eyes smiled coldly. Lowly Luo's expression changed right away when she was exposed. Everything was written all over her face. In that case, Gu Linshan had seen through her completely. In his eyes, Luo Luoli was as pure as a piece of white paper. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for provoking me in the first place. You wanted to escape unscathed after provoking me. Until now, no one has been able to do that. Could Luo Luoli say that her intestines were tied in a butterfly knot now? Not a day went by that she didn't regret it. Now that Gu Linshan had brought it up again, she was so remorseful that she wished she could turn back time. Gu Linshan had brought it up on purpose, hadn't he? Was he deliberately making her regret her actions? Lowly Luo's heart was filled with regret. With a bit of hope, she asked, "Little uncle, can I ask you something?" Seeing that Gu Linshan didn't say anything and only looked at her, she tactfully continued to ask, "If the person I marry has to be approved by you, isn't that a high requirement?" She felt that her expectations would be higher than Luo Majuan's. Luo Meiwan might ask the man to treat her well. Luo Luoli felt that Gu Linshan was not an easy person to deal with. "I don't have any requests." Gu Linshan's expression was calm. "Really?" Luo Luoli was surprised. "Of course, as long as I find him pleasing to the eye. I don't have any requirements." Why did Luo Luoli feel so uneasy about this? What kind of you is pleasing to the eye? Luo Luoli wanted to get to the bottom of it. Does he have to be handsome, rich, and treat me well? Gu Linshan smiled coldly. "Is this what you want? Let me tell you now, without my permission, you can't even look at the opposite sex for 3 seconds." Luo Luoli looked at Gu Linshan in disbelief. "Little uncle, can I not call you that in the future? Do you really think you're an elder by calling you that? Are you trying to drive me to my death?" "I won't die." Luo Luoli wanted to cry. She pressed her face against the car window in despair. Even her mother would not treat her like this. Absolutely not. If she couldn't even look at the opposite sex for 3 seconds, wouldn't the requirements be even higher if she married him? Luo Luoli broke down and muttered, "It's over. No one will want me for the rest of my life. I'm going to become an old maid." Gu Linshan's deep black eyes looked at Luo Luoli's broken-down expression. It was cute and interesting. He did not comfort her hurt little heart. He had a leisurely look on his face. "Gu Linshan, I want to eat." Luo Luoli looked at the grocery store outside and said angrily to Gu Linshan. She wanted to turn her anger into delicious food, swallow it all into her stomach, and poop it out. Perhaps she would feel better this way. Gu Linshan glanced at her and knocked twice on the car door. The driver understood and stopped the car by the roadside. After getting out of the car, Luo Luoli went straight to the dessert shop. She heard that the dessert shop was delicious. She couldn't afford it in the past. Luo Luoli drooled as she looked at the dazzling array of cream cakes in the glass cabinet. "I really want to take a bite of every one of them." Luo Luoli's longing eyes almost penetrated the glass and landed on the exquisite and delicious cakes. Gu Linshan, who was standing behind her, looked at Luo Luoli's undisguised desire to eat and even heard her useless thoughts. He reached out and waved for the waiter. "Make a serving of every one of them." "Okay. Would you like to take them all away?" "No, I'll eat here." "Eat all of them here? Don't you need to take any of them away?" The waitress asked in surprise. She had never seen such a customer before. It was reasonable to take them away, but eating all of them here without taking any of them away? How could they finish all of them? Is there a problem? Gu Linshan's eyes were cold and sharp. The waitress was shocked and quickly lowered her head, not daring to look at him. "No problem. I'll make them for you now. Please wait a moment." She ran away after saying that. The handsome man was very pleasing to the eye, but also very dangerous. There was nothing wrong with the waitress, but Luo Luoli's words were very problematic. She walked up to Gu Linshan and asked, "Why did you order so many cakes? What do you think? For me? But there are so many, I can't finish them all." "Didn't you say to take a bite of each one?" Gu Linshan's tall figure moved closer to her. He enveloped Luo Luoli's slender body in it. Luo Luoli looked at the face in front of her anxiously. "Why? Are you so touched that you can't speak?" Could Luo Luoli say that she was not touched, but frightened? Gu Linshan's money must have fallen from the sky to be so wasteful, right? Originally, a small cake was sold for close to 1,000 yuan. With so many cakes, it would cost tens of thousands. She was scared to death. She was so frightened that she could not make a sound. It's okay to be touched. You know that I'm good to you, so you have to listen to what I say in the future. I'll listen to everything you say. The main thing was that she could not resist. That's good. Why did Luo Luoli feel that this was a trap? She thought of what Gu Linchen said in the car and immediately added, "Can I make my own decisions about my marriage? Is this what you mean by being obedient?" Gu Linchen used his aura to suppress her as he asked. Luo Luoli wanted to cry, but had no tears. "I don't want to eat the cake. It's the same whether you eat it or not." In other words, resistance was futile. Now that there was cake to eat, she had to seize the opportunity to eat it. After saying that, he turned and walked to the seat by the window and sat down. Luo Luoli glared at the figure and sat down on the seat opposite him angrily. She then noticed that the girls eating the desserts were all glancing shyly at Gu Linchen. Luo Luoli knew what this look meant. Her bright eyes turned and changed the topic to Gu Linchen. "Uncle, when are you going to get married? What's the matter?" Chapter 528. Gu Linchen's expression immediately darkened. "Why? Do you think I'm old?" "No, that's not what I meant." Luo Luoli muttered in her heart. What did she say that he was old? Moreover, although Gu Linchen was in his early 30s and much older than her, he was handsome and elegant. The colder he was, the more attractive he was. Therefore, age was not an issue. Gu Linchen's charm could be seen from the adoring looks that the other girls in the dessert shop cast at Gu Linchen from time to time. However, Gu Linchen turned a blind eye to them. It seemed that Gu Linchen did not like Lin Xianting either. "Little uncle, Lin Xianting is not bad. Why don't you like her? Moreover, she's a strong woman. Don't they say that men nowadays prefer women with strong opinions and strong independence?" Luo Luoli said with the intention of matchmaking. "You want me to marry her?" "That's not the case. As long as you like her." "I don't like her." Luo Luoli felt that even if Lin Xianting was present, Gu Linchen would still be so merciless. If he really liked Lin Xianting, he would not have quarreled with old Master Gu. However, this was Gu Linchen's own problem. It was none of her business whether he got married or not. Luo Luoli even thought that Gu Linchen could not control her marriage either. Anyway, her 18th birthday was coming soon. When the time came, she would be able to leave Gu Linchen's side. Gu Linchen had said it himself at that time. After the cake was served, it spread all over the table. Luo Luoli's face was a little hot as she looked at it. She saw that the others were giving her strange looks. "Little uncle, can the two of us finish it?" Luo Luoli asked doubtfully. "I'm not eating. I ordered this for you." Gu Linchen's expression was indifferent. "I'm eating alone? I won't be able to finish it." Luo Luoli was shocked. "I didn't ask you to finish it. Take a bite of each one and see which one tastes best. Then buy some and bring them back to eat." Luo Luoli felt that the next time she went out to eat with Gu Linchen, she must not say what she was thinking. Otherwise, he would have bought them all, just like today. The cake was fine, but what if she thought that the entire jewelry store looked good? Gu Linchen wouldn't buy all of them, would he? Luo Luoli felt a little scared just thinking about it. Luo Luoli didn't want to waste anything. She took a bite and was about to finish the cake when Gu Linchen said, "One bite." Thus, Luo Luoli could only take a bite of the cake. Just like that, Luo Luoli took a bite of each cake and savored its taste. Just as she took a bite of the cake, she thought of something and handed the cake in her hand to Gu Linchen. "Little uncle, take a bite too. I don't eat sweets, but it's delicious. You must have said that because you haven't eaten it yet. Take a bite and you'll definitely find it delicious. I'm not lying to you. Eat it." Luo Luoli was afraid that Gu Linchen wouldn't eat it, so she handed it to his mouth. Gu Linchen's dark eyes looked at Luo Luoli, who insisted on giving it to him, and suddenly grabbed her slender wrist. Luo Luoli thought that this was a rejection to stop her from being presumptuous. But when she wanted to take her hand back, she couldn't. "Little uncle, I've eaten sweets that tasted better than this." "Huh? So, you don't like these sweets anymore?" Luo Luoli understood. "Do you want to know what I've eaten?" Gu Linchen asked. "Yes." Luo Luoli thought about what Gu Linchen had told her. She wanted to eat some sweets too. "Let's go." Gu Linshan dragged Luo Luoli out of the shop. Little uncle, I haven't finished eating yet. Where are we going? Luo Luoli was confused as Gu Linshan dragged her. Luo Luoli was dragged all the way to the side of the shop and pressed against the wall. Luo Luoli looked at the shadow on her face and stopped breathing. She couldn't speak, or maybe she was so frightened that she couldn't open her mouth. She didn't know what was going on. Are you frightened? Gu Linshan asked in a low voice, looking at her possessively. It was as if he was going to swallow her up. No, little uncle. We're outside. Don't be like this. Luo Luoli resisted. Don't you want to know what's more delicious than sweets? Luo Luoli was stunned. Did he come out like this just to tell her this? But if that's the case, you can say it inside. Why? Ugh. Before Loli Luo could finish her sentence, her small mouth was blocked. She was so shocked that her eyes widened and her body stiffened. When she felt the wetness, Loli Luo panicked and wanted to push him away. However, Gu Linshan's strong body didn't budge at all. Luo Luoli's struggling voice was stuck in her throat. Her face was red and her breathing was rapid. This was outside where people came and went. Wasn't Gu Linshan being too presumptuous? When she was released, Luo Luoli lay weakly on Gu Linshan's firm chest. Her eyes were misty and her mouth was red and swollen as she tried to breathe in fresh air. She was so anxious that it was as if she would suffocate to death if he let her go a second later. Luo Luoli couldn't do anything. She was hugged by Gu Linshan. If he didn't do this, she would slide to the ground. However, she could still hear Gu Linshan's low and hoarse voice. Now do you know what's more delicious than sweets? Luo Luoli's muddled mind gradually cleared up. She turned slowly and understood Gu Linshan's words. She pulled away from his chest in embarrassment and anger. How can you do this? Don't kiss me all the time. All the time? It's been a long time since the last time, Gu Linshan said matter-of-factly. Although Luo Luoli was angry, Gu Linshan's swollen lips still made him a little absent-minded when he spoke. He wondered if that place was also so tempting and cute. As he thought about it, the look in his eyes deepened. His body temperature was also rising. Luo Luoli didn't notice the change in Gu Linshan at all. She was immersed in her anger. I don't care. You can't kiss me. No matter how long it's been, you can't kiss me. Gu Linshan didn't listen to Luo Luoli's words. He only thought about how many days it was until Luo Luoli's 18th birthday. When he thought about the number of days, Gu Linshan's expression became particularly ugly. He raked his hand through his dark hair in frustration and cursed. Damn it. He turned and left. Luo Luoli couldn't believe Gu Linshan's curse. Was he scolding her? But what right did he have to scold her? She was the victim. Couldn't she reject the touch of the opposite sex? Besides, this was no longer as simple as touching. It even involved a moral issue. Little uncle, tell me clearly. What do you mean? Luo Luoli came back to her senses and chased after him. Chapter 529. Her face was pale and her hands were trembling as she held the steering wheel. She had not expected to see such a scene. Gu Linshan was kissing Luo Luoli passionately. This was definitely not an elder's kiss of concern. This was something only couples would do. It was so intense and selfless. From what she knew, Gu Linshan was a calm, arrogant, and mature man with great control. However, she saw Gu Linshan lose control of himself. The person who made him lose control was not her, but that ugly person, Luo Luoli. Could it be that she was inferior to that ugly person? No wonder Gu Linshan wanted to keep Luo Luoli by his side and bring her along when he argued with old Master Gu. So that was what he was thinking. But she could not accept it. The desserts in the dessert shop were packaged in various ways. Luo Luoli was sitting next to the desserts and smelling the sweetness of the desserts, but she could not feel happy. Gu Linshan, who was sitting opposite her, was calm as if it was normal for him to kiss her. No, she had to make Gu Linshan give up on the idea of kissing her. This was absolutely impossible. If this happened, how could she find a boyfriend in the future? Little uncle, Gu Linshan looked at her faintly. Luo Luoli's little heart tightened under his gaze. Little uncle, Do you know that I am an ugly person in school and in the eyes of my classmates? I know. How do you know? There is nothing wrong with my taste. Gu Linshin glanced at her coldly. If there is nothing wrong, why did you kiss me? Is there something wrong with your brain? Luo Luoli did not understand. Gu Linshin was stunned. He could not believe that someone had the audacity to say that there was something wrong with his brain. Do you have a death wish? Loli Luo was startled. Only then did she realize that she had said something stupid. She hurriedly waved her hands and explained, No, little uncle. I didn't say that there is something wrong with your brain. I meant that you were smart for a while, but stupid for a lifetime. No, smart all your life, but stupid this time. Luo Loli felt that the sweat on her forehead was about to drip down. She wiped the sweat off her face. Little uncle, actually, my words are not without reason. Think about it. If other people saw you doing that to me, they would definitely think that there's something wrong with you. Luo Luoli tapped her temple. That's how it is. What was Gu Linshin's net worth? What kind of beauty could he not have? Why would he look for an ugly monster like her? If he wasn't blind in terms of strength, then there was something wrong with his brain. Gu Linshin smiled coldly. His smile made one's scalp tingle. Others won't think that way. Why? Luo Luoli was puzzled. Others will only think that kissing an ugly monster like you is because your skills are good. Luo Luoli's confusion turned into disbelief. There was actually such a saying? It really scared her. She was frightened because what Gu Linshin said seemed to make sense, but she would never admit it in her heart. Others won't think that way. Besides, my first kiss was taken by you. How could I have any skills? Did you think that everyone was as evil as you? Then what do you think they'll think? Gu Linshin asked in a good mood. Then his eyes darkened. If you dare say that there's something wrong with my brain again, I'll kiss you until you suffocate. Luo Luoli was about to open her mouth when she suddenly closed it. She could only curse in her heart. Indecent, unreasonable, inhumane. If you don't say it, I'll still kiss you until you suffocate. I can't say it, but I can't not say it either. Luo Luoli was angry. That's what I mean. Loli Luo had no choice but to rack her brain under the powerful, unreasonable, and indecent pressure. In the end, she said with a knot in her brain, Others must think that I forced you. She would rather slander herself than say that she was good at kissing. Gu Linshin's deep black eyes were filled with interest and affection that even he himself didn't realize. He said shamelessly, It's good that you know. Luo Luoli was so angry that she didn't want to say anything. Interacting with Gu Linshin was a very scary thing. Luo Luoli couldn't find the extracurricular books she wanted in school, so she went to the library outside. She had to buy the books she wanted. Otherwise, she would have a headache during the exams. She trembled at the thought of Gu Linshin, who was even scarier than Luo Meiwan, if she didn't do well in the exams. After finding the books, Luo Luoli sat in front of the table and flipped through them. Suddenly, she felt someone sit down in front of her. Luo Luoli instinctively looked up and was stunned. Lin Xiangting looked at her with a smile. What a coincidence. You're here to buy books? Luo Luoli felt that it was strange. Wouldn't it be normal to meet someone who is eating or shopping elsewhere? Yes, I like to read too. Luo Luoli didn't comment. Lin Xiangting looked at Luo Luoli and secretly sized her up. The image of her kissing Gu Linshin was still in her mind, and it shocked her so much that the anger in her heart was in a mess. However, she wasn't called a strong career woman for nothing. She quickly got control of her emotions. The college entrance exams are in 2 months, right? Lin Xiangting asked calmly like an elder. Yes. Are you confident that you'll do well? I don't know. I'll just try my best. Lin Xiangting smiled and said, Go ahead and read. I won't disturb you anymore. I'll leave first. After taking a few steps, she turned back and smiled at Luo Luoli. There are a lot of cars on the road. You must be careful. Luo Luoli felt that her words were strange. Why did she add that after she left? Maybe it was her imagination. She nodded. Okay. Seeing that Lin Xiangting had really left, Luo Luoli heaved a sigh of relief. She didn't have much to talk about with Lin Xiangting. She read for a while in the library. Seeing that it was about time to go back to school, She got up and left the library. She had to cross the road to get to the library. Before crossing the road, Luo Luoli looked at the cars on both sides. After all, there were no red lights or zebra crossings. Everyone crossed the road that way. Seeing that there were no cars, Luo Luoli began to cross the road and go to the opposite side. Just as she was halfway across, a car turned out of the corner and drove directly towards Luo Luoli. Luo Luoli saw it and jumped in fright. She quickly took a step back. The car didn't hit her, but it brushed past her body and knocked Luo Luoli to the ground. Luo Luoli fell to the ground with a heavy thud. She was dizzy from the fall. After the dizziness passed, she saw the car drive away. It didn't stop because it had hit someone. Was it trying to escape? She felt a burning pain in her knee. Slowly, Luo sat up and saw that her pants were torn and bleeding at her left knee. Luo Luoli couldn't stand the pain. She pouted and blew at the wound. Chapter 530. Could this be considered as her luck? If she had reacted a little slower, she might have died here. Luo Luoli limped slowly to school. She thought that it shouldn't be broken. If it was broken, how could it be so easy to talk and walk? Lin Xianting's words really made sense. She had to be careful when crossing the road. Was she not careful enough? Really, she wasn't even careful when crossing the road. When she arrived at school, she went to the infirmary to have the school doctor examine her. Your knee isn't broken, but I don't know if it's cracked. You have to go to the hospital for an x-ray. I'll treat your wound first, then you can go to the hospital for a closer examination, said the school doctor. The pants below the knee had been cut off. Luo Luoli looked at her red and swollen knee. It looked like a bun. It shouldn't crack, right? After the wound was treated, Luo Luoli didn't go to the hospital. Instead, she went to the classroom. She didn't walk out of school until class was over. Luo Luoli looked at her knee again. It was more swollen and painful than it was in the afternoon. Could it be that the bone really cracked? Luo Luoli didn't want to go to the hospital. She thought that she should wait for 2 more days. There was a transition period for the wound too. Maybe it would be completely healed in 2 days. If she went home like this, would Gu Linxian see her? Thinking of Gu Linxian's expression, Luo Luoli decided to buy a pair of trousers to wear first. When she reached the women's clothing store, Luo Luoli chose a pair of wide-legged trousers that she had never worn before. She couldn't see anything in the mirror, but when she walked, she couldn't help but limp in pain. She hoped that she could hide it from Gu Linxian's eyes. When she reached home, Luo Luoli didn't go in. She poked her head out of the door first. She didn't see Gu Linxian and wanted to go upstairs through the living room. Just as she was about to walk out of the living room, she heard a voice behind her. "Why are you back so late?" Luo Luoli turned around stiffly and saw Gu Linxian appear out of nowhere. Her eyes flashed as she said, "I'm not late, right? I usually come back around this time." 10 minutes late, Gu Linxian pointed out sharply. Luo Luoli, "Uncle, it's just 10 minutes. It's just time to look at the scenery. Looks like the scenery isn't good enough. That's why they stopped for 10 minutes, Gu Linxian said with an unfriendly expression. Luo Luoli pursed her lips and remained silent. She knew that Gu Linxian was unreasonable, but it was amazing that he could be so unreasonable. "I remember that you weren't wearing these pants when you left the house this morning." Gu Linxian's gaze landed on the eyesore of a pair of wide-legged pants. The calf pants she used to wear made her legs look straight and well-defined, which suited her very well. "What kind of pants are these?" When I was in school, I broke it during PE class, so I want to buy a new one," Luo Luoli said with a smile. "You sure know how to make excuses like this." "Of course, I acted it out a few times on the way here." Luo Luoli's smug expression froze. "I mean, you have to tell the truth." Gu Linxian's sharp black eyes looked at her coldly. Luo Luoli immediately lowered her head. "Let's eat," Gu Linxian said. Luo Luoli raised her head and looked at Gu Linxian. Was he going to watch her enter the dining room? No way. If she walked in front of Gu Linxian, her limp would definitely be noticed. It's okay. She could just say that she fell during PE class. Hence, under Gu Linxian's oppressive gaze, Luo Luoli moved her feet. As she moved, she said, "I fell during PE class. It's nothing serious." Gu Linxian walked forward with a cold expression. Luo Luoli was so frightened that she froze in place. In the next second, Gu Linshen picked her up. Ah! Luo Luoli instinctively clung onto Gu Linshen's broad shoulders, afraid that she would fall. Gu Linshen, what are you doing? Gu Linshen placed her down on the sofa and asked coldly which leg. Luo Luoli felt numb under his gaze. Her slender fingers pointed at her left knee, still trembling. Gu Linshen's hand touched it, and it hurt so much that Luo Luoli trembled. Ah, be gentle. Gu Linshen's expression turned ugly. He didn't use any strength at all. Go get the scissors, Gu Linshen instructed. The servant beside him immediately went to get the scissors. Luo Luoli was still in pain, so she didn't think about why Gu Linshen was holding the scissors. It wasn't until Gu Linshen was cutting her pants that she realized what was going on. She hurriedly stopped him. These are my new pants. Why are you cutting them? I'm really fine. It's just a scratch. I'll be fine tomorrow. Let go. Gu Linshen's gaze was sinister. Luo Luoli swallowed her saliva and retracted her hand. Gu Linshen made her feel that if she didn't retract her hand, it would be cut off. She didn't want to injure her knee and break her fingers. It would be too tragic. Gu Linshen cut the pants at the knee. He cut off the entire piece of cloth at the knee. When the cloth was lifted, Gu Linshen's heart sank. His heart, which had always been cold and hard, twitched uncomfortably. Gu Linshen didn't have any emotional fluctuations when he killed someone. This kind of injury was negligible. However, this injury appeared on Luo Luoli's body, so it became very serious. It made Gu Linshen bloodthirsty. His expression was terrifyingly sinister. Even though her knee was bandaged, it was swollen and there were abrasions on the side that hadn't been bandaged. This is what you meant when you said you were fine? Gu Linshen looked up. His gaze was terrifyingly cold. I think I'm fine. Luo Luoli met Gu Linshen's gaze and was speechless. You fell during physical education class? Try lying again. Gu Linshen suppressed his anger and asked. I went to the library to buy books at noon. When I crossed the road, I didn't see a car. The car brushed past me, and I fell. That's how it is. The more Luo Luoli spoke, the darker Gu Linshen's expression became. She hurriedly added, but I went to the school's infirmary. The school doctor said that the bone wasn't broken. Can you walk back if it's broken? Luo Luoli was speechless. She was picked up. Ah, little uncle. Gu Linshen carried Luo Luoli into the car. In the blink of an eye, they arrived at the hospital. Gu Linshen's expression was very ugly, so Luo Luoli tactfully remained silent and allowed the doctor to examine her. Luo Luoli muttered in her heart. Her leg was only injured. Why did he need to take an x-ray of her entire body? Wasn't this too exaggerated? After taking the x-ray, the doctor said, everything else is fine. There's a crack in your kneecap. Try not to walk when you go back. You'll be fine in a week. I can't walk for a week, but I still have to go to class. Luo Luoli panicked when she heard this. Your health is more important. The doctor smiled. Luo Luoli frowned. She was really unlucky. Chapter 531. Wasn't this a loss that outweighed the gains? When they left the hospital, Luo Luoli was carried out by Gu Linshen, and she had no excuse for Gu Linshen to put her down. It was so embarrassing. How could such a big person be carried here and there? And wasn't Gu Linshen tired? Carrying a princess was a test of arm strength. There was some distance between the hospital and the hospital, but Gu Linshen's expression didn't change, and his heart didn't race. It was obvious how strong he was. In the car on the way back, Luo Luoli felt a little guilty when she saw Gu Linshen's sullen and cold expression. Who asked her to lie in the beginning? Seriously, it really cracked. If only it hadn't cracked, she would have been able to gain the upper hand in front of Gu Linshen. He said, look, you're the one making a fuss. I said, it's just a scratch. Don't do this next time. But reality was always cruel. Little uncle, you're not really going to stop me from studying for a week, are you? Luo Luoli looked at Gu Linshen, feeling wronged. I won't. Luo Luoli heaved a sigh of relief. Thank goodness, at least she was going to study. Don't worry, little uncle. I'll try not to use my left leg. I can walk with my right leg hopping. Gu Linshen turned to look out of the car window. Luo Luoli looked at him and pondered. Did he not want to hear her speak, but was extremely patient? Whether or not that was what he meant, Luo Luoli moved her lips and didn't say anything else. However, the next day, after Luo Luoli finished her breakfast on her bed, a woman walked in. She was quite good-looking, tall, and had a serious aura. Luo Luoli looked at her in confusion. The woman began to introduce herself. I'm Wang Yace, your all-round teacher. I'll be teaching you this week. What? Luo Luoli looked at Wang Yace in astonishment. At this moment, Gu Linshan walked in. She quickly asked, Little uncle, what's the meaning of this? Didn't you say that I can go back to school? What did I agree? Yesterday in the car. Luo Luoli paused. She seemed to have said that she couldn't study for a week, not that she couldn't go back to school for a week. Now that he was studying at home, it wasn't considered as going back on his word. Luo Luoli looked at Gu Linshan as if she was about to cry. Little uncle, I want to go back to school. I don't want to study at home. It's all the same. The teachers I hire will only be better than the teachers in your school. Call him Teacher Wang, Gu Linshan instructed. Luo Luoli looked gloomily at Wang Yace. Out of respect, she had no choice but to greet her. Miss Wang. Then she looked at Gu Linshan. Can I go to school now? You've already called the teacher. Why do you want to go to school? Gu Linshan said as he turned and left the room. Luo Luoli felt that if she went against Gu Linshan, she would end up in a miserable state. Thus, Wang Yace taught her for the entire day. Her class schedule was exactly the same as when she was in school. Other than the fact that Luo Luoli was sitting at the head of the bed, everything else was the same. Are you even listening to my lecture? Wang Yace looked at her sternly. Luo Luoli was stunned for a moment. She hid her absent-mindedness and said, I'm sorry. I hope you can respect my job. Luo Luoli was speechless. She thought about how this teacher was even fiercer than she was in school. Where did Gu Linshan find this teacher? Could it be that Gu Linshan didn't like her and deliberately found a fierce teacher? When it was almost dinner time, Gu Linshan walked into her room. There was a small square table on Luo Luoli's bed. She was doing her homework. When Wang Yace saw Gu Linshan walk in, she hurriedly stood up to welcome him. Her warm attitude was completely different from when she was a professor. There was a smile on her face. Luo Luoli hadn't seen Wang Yace smile for an entire day. She couldn't help but be surprised. She could also tell that Wang Yace had some feelings for Gu Linshan. Her so-called feelings were probably just that a woman liked a man. Luo Luoli met Gu Linshan's gaze. She pursed her lips and continued to write. Are you obedient? Gu Linshan asked. Quite obedient. It's just that she likes to be absent-minded in class. But this isn't a big problem. It's a habit of all students. Wang Yace was simply tattling on her in a roundabout way. Lowly Luo glanced at Arthur Wang, who had a big smile on his face. I'm not asking you. Gu Linshan's voice was cold. The smile on Wang Yace's face froze, and she retracted it. Luo Luoli only just realized that Gu Linshan was asking her. Who would know if he didn't say anything? But she could only mutter to herself. I'm very obedient. Luo Luoli deliberately went against Wang Yace. Seriously, she didn't like Wang Yace very much. She always felt that Wang Yace was picking on her, and her words were unpleasant. Wang Yace wasn't even as cute as the teachers in school. I hired teacher Wang from the university. If you don't know anything, you can ask her, Gu Linshan said. Luo Luoli thought that the price must be very high too. She didn't know why Gu Linshan wanted to waste this money. Couldn't he just let her go to school? If he was really worried, he could send her there personally. She wouldn't reject it. But while the idea was beautiful, the reality was cruel. When they were in school, one teacher had to keep an eye on so many students. Now it was one-on-one. Gu Linshan was torturing her. Why aren't you saying anything? Gu Linshan frowned. Got it. Lowly Luo purposely dragged out the last syllable of each word. Gu Linshan glanced at her indifferently and went out. Wang Yace returned to her chair and sat down. She flipped through the book in her hand, and her expression was very ugly. Luo Luoli glanced at Wang Yace and didn't pay much attention to her. She continued to do her homework. After she was done, she could catch her breath and cook dinner. She wondered what kind of delicious food would be served to her at night. When it was time, Class was over and Wang Yace left. Luo Luoli lay on the bed and played with her phone while resting. It was indeed good to have classes at home. The only bad thing was that she couldn't get out of bed. It had been a week. It had only been 2 days. Luo Luoli sighed. The games on her phone weren't that attractive anymore. Just as she was sighing, a voice came from behind her. Gu Linshin entered the room. Luo Luoli's eyes flashed, but she didn't say anything. Are you tired? No. Why are you sighing? Luo Luoli thought to herself. You even noticed that I was sighing? I want to get out of bed. You want to? Luo Luoli nodded seriously. It's so boring to stay in bed all the time. Gu Linshin sat down on the edge of the bed without saying a word. Luo Luoli looked at Gu Linshin. She didn't know what he was going to say to her. Was he going to persuade her with some words? Just as she sat up straight and was ready to listen attentively. Her jaw tightened. A shadow came over. Luo Luoli didn't have time to react before her little mouth was swallowed. Chapter 532. She felt a strong sense of possessiveness. When Luo Luoli realized what was happening, she put her hands between the two of them and tried to push him away. Gu Linshin grabbed the back of Luo Luoli's head. She had nowhere to run. MMM. The more Luo Luoli struggled, the harder Gu Linshin held her. The sweet taste turned Gu Linshin's threatening thoughts into greed. He wanted her breath, her taste, everything. Just as Gu Linshin was about to do something else, something happened. Gu Linshin's eyes narrowed when he sensed something unusual in the air. He let go of the dizzy Luo Luoli and swept his gaze over the room. Wang Yace, who was walking back and forth in front of the bedroom door, was stunned. Her voice was trembling as she said, I dropped my phone here. Luo Luoli, who had been lying limply in Gu Linshin's arms, heard her voice and immediately woke up. Her body stiffened. Wang Yace picked up her phone and left without hesitation. Luo Luoli struggled out of Gu Linshin's arms and punched Gu Linshin's chest. She was furious. What's wrong with you? Why are you doing this to me? And we were seen. What does it matter? It doesn't matter? Luo Luoli couldn't believe how thick-skinned Gu Linshin was. How can it not matter? You're my little uncle. Don't you call me Gu Linshin? I haven't called you that in a long time. Luo Luoli said pitifully. If you feel uncomfortable calling me little uncle, you can call me something else in the future. What? Sean. Luo Luoli was stunned. Gu Linshin ignored her shock and stood up to warn her. If you try to get out of bed again, I'll do this to you. With that, he left. Luo Luoli was left sitting on the bed in a daze. It took him a long time to react. Did he kiss her like that to threaten her not to get out of bed? Why did he have to use his actions instead of a warning? Luo Luoli was so angry that she wanted to smash something. However, she only had her phone in her hand, so she couldn't bear to part with it. Moreover, if he wanted to smash it, he should have smashed it on Gu Linshin's face. How despicable! How could he treat her like this? She was not going to call him deep. It seemed like they were very close. Just thinking about it made her feel ashamed. She didn't want it. But what would Wang Yace think if she saw Gu Linshin kissing her? Luo Luoli felt that she couldn't face anyone anymore. The next day, Wang Yace appeared in Luo Luoli's room on time. Luo Luoli secretly observed, her expression more serious than yesterday. It was as if someone had offended her. Today's the exam. Let me see how you did yesterday. Luo Luoli began the exam. After the exam, she marked the papers for Wang Yace. Luo Luoli looked at her as she marked the papers. She thought that she would wait for the papers to be marked in silence. Unexpectedly, Wang Yace spoke. I accidentally saw what happened yesterday. I apologize to you. Luo Luoli was stunned. She didn't expect her to take the initiative to say this. Actually, it would be best if he didn't say anything about this. It's okay. Luo Luoli didn't know what else to say besides saying this. She felt very uncomfortable. I think the most important thing for someone your age to do is to study and not do meaningless things. Don't you think I'm right? Wang Yace raised her head. Her eyes were full of aggression. Luo Luoli looked at the papers in Wang Yace's hand and took them. Correct the mistakes and copy the whole paper 10 times, Wang Yace said. What? 10 times? Such a big paper? Luo Luoli was stunned. Yes. Why? Are they all wrong? Luo Luoli looked at both sides of the paper. There weren't many questions that were circled. No. I want you to copy the papers 10 times because I don't want you to forget the questions that you did before. Go and take a look at the questions that you got wrong. They are all from year 1. It seems like you've returned all the knowledge of grade 1 to me, Wang Yace said in a businesslike manner. She was the teacher. She had the final say. And if she didn't copy, Wang Yace would definitely tell Gu Linshan. When that happened, Gu Linshan would definitely give her a hard time. Therefore, Luo Luoli could only bite the bullet and start correcting the wrong questions. After correcting, she started to copy. She copied until lunch, but she still hadn't finished. No, she hadn't even finished 1/3 of the paper. Luo Luoli cursed in her heart. Was Wang Yace pranking her? Lunch was brought into the room by the servants. During the day, Gu Linshan had business to deal with and wasn't in the mansion. While she was eating, the phone beside the bed rang. Luo Luoli looked at the caller ID. It was Gu Linshan. She picked up. Gu Linshan, what are you doing? What did you call me? Luo Luoli pursed her lips tightly. I'm asking you, what did you call me? Gu Linshan, what did I say to you yesterday? Of course, Luo Luoli knew what he was talking about, but she really wanted to have selective amnesia. Or do you want to force you to call me in front of me? Gu Linshan's calm but threatening words came through the phone. Luo Luoli panicked. She could only suppress her voice and call out. It was still unclear. Call me again. Gu Linshan ordered. I'll come back now. I'll call you. Luo Luoli closed her eyes tightly. She seemed to be gathering her courage and gritting her teeth. She was forced to go all out. Shun. On the other end of the phone, Gu Linshan heard her clearly. He felt his chest go numb. He couldn't help but smile, but his tone was still very calm. Yes, I heard you. Eat more. Luo Luoli was surprised. How did you know I was eating? What do you want to do if you're not eating at this time? Or are you not eating? Gu Linshan's voice became dangerous. I'm eating. I'm hanging up. Luo Luoli hurriedly hung up the phone. He even wanted to control her eating. She simply couldn't follow Gu Linshan's logic when talking to him. It was a very normal sentence, but when it came out of his mouth, it was like the source of evil. For the next 2 days, Luo Luoli studied the same every day. She had to copy 10 times for the exam. On the 3rd day, the first sentence Wang Yace said when she walked into the room was still exam. Does that mean I have to copy 10 times after the exam? Wang Yace looked up and said in a teacher's tone, Yes, because of your... Chapter 533. I'm just teaching you normally. I didn't offend you. Wang Yace said coldly. Now in school, copying more than 5 times is considered corporal punishment. You're from a high school. Or do all the students in your high school do this? It's like this for the poor students. Luo Luoli bit her lip and stared at Wang Yace. What did she mean? Was she mocking her for her poor grades? You should be a good child and study hard. You have to know that Master Gu applied for an excellent teacher like me for your own good. Do you want to go against his good intentions? Luo Luoli sneered. What do you mean by being a good child? If you taught me like you did for the first 2 days, I wouldn't say anything. But you keep making me copy the test papers. What's your motive? Don't think that I don't know that you like my little uncle, so you don't like me. I like Master Gu, but it doesn't seem to have anything to do with you. Are you hinting that there's something between you and Master Gu? Ew. What did you say? Luo Luoli was so angry that her face turned red. Don't tell me you've forgotten what I saw that day so quickly. Do you know what you did? Mess, Luo Luoli's chest was filled with anger. She had never been humiliated like this before. Her eyes were full of tears as she stared stubbornly at Wang Yace. Wang Yace also knew when to stop. After all, she could only mock her in private. But she didn't expect Luo Luoli to have such a temper despite her small size. Luo Luoli threw off the blanket and got out of bed. What are you doing? You still have to continue class. Wang Yace stood up and said. Luo Luoli didn't care about her. She got out of bed and went into the cloakroom to get dressed. After passing the clothes around, she picked up her bag and left. Luo Luoli, do you want me to tell Master Gu? Luo Luoli stopped in her tracks. Wang Yace knew that Luo Luoli would be obedient if she used Gu Linshan. Luo Luoli turned around and looked at her coldly. Then you can go now. I won't attend this class. You can also help me tell Gu Linshin that I won't be staying here anymore. If you're happy, you can stay. After he finished speaking, he threw his bag over his shoulder and left without looking back. Wang Yace didn't expect her to have such a bad temper. She wanted to run away from home after saying a few words. She had been in high school for too long. He had forgotten that children at this age were very rebellious. Wang Yace was also afraid that Gu Linshin would pursue the matter, so she hurriedly chased after him. But by the time she chased after her, Luo Luoli was already gone. What should he do now? How was he going to explain it to Gu Linshin? No, she had to call Gu Linshin first. If she waited for Luo Luoli to call Gu Linshin, she wondered what they would say. The call went through, and Gu Linshin's deep voice came through. What's the matter? Young Master Gu. Luo Luoli ran out. Gu Linshin's voice immediately sank. Who let her go out? She wanted to go out herself. I couldn't stop her. It's my fault. I saw that she had forgotten most of the questions for the first and second year subjects, so I wanted her to copy them a few more times every day so that she wouldn't forget them. She wasn't happy to copy them and ran away. Before Wang Yace could finish, the sound of the phone being hung up came through. After Gu Linshin hung up the phone, he called Luo Luoli, but no one answered. Gu Linshin was downstairs looking at the prototype of the resort that the designers had made. When he received the phone call, his face immediately darkened, and the top designers next to him kept quiet out of fear. Wait for me to come back. Gu Linshin left these words and turned to leave. In the car, Gu Linshin called Luo Meiwan. Linshin, why did you call me? Luo Meiwan was surprised and happy. Nothing, I haven't called you in a long time. Gu Linshin's heart was filled with Luo Luoli, but his tone was calm, and he didn't show any urgency. When I moved last time, I asked Luo Luoli to invite you over for dinner, but you didn't have time. I asked if you were free next time. Did she tell you? Gu Linshin frowned and said, she did. Is that okay? Luo Luoli's 18th birthday is in 2 days. I'll cook for you guys. Luo Meiwan said with a smile. I'll tell Luo Luoli when I get home tonight. Okay. Luo Meiwan's okay meant that Luo Luoli didn't go to Luo Meiwan's place at all. Where could she have gone? After Luo Luoli left the mansion, she took the car back to school. It happened to be a Saturday, and there were no students at school except for the security guards and staff. Luo Luoli walked around the school. She didn't know where to go. Should she go back to Luo Meiwan's place at this time? If she went back, would Luo Meiwan see that she was in a bad mood and call Gu Linshin? She definitely would. She realized that Luo Meiwan was biased towards Gu Linshin. To her, the Gu family was more important. Luo Luoli sighed. Fortunately, she had rested for 5 days, and the swelling in her knees had subsided. She didn't feel anything when she walked, so it was fine to walk like this. Then she walked to the back of the school and sat on the lawn in a daze. Her hands unconsciously pulled the grass. She thought about what Wang Yace had said to her. What did she see? What did she mean, Lun? She didn't understand. She didn't want to understand. So what if Gu Linshin kissed her? Even if he shouldn't, it wasn't considered a mess, right? The Gu family had disowned Luo Meiwan a long time ago. What right did Wang Yace have to say that? Gu Linshin went straight to the school. The bodyguard next to him said, Young Master Gu, there's no school today. Gu Linshin gave the bodyguard a cold look, and he immediately shut up. Gu Linshin went to the security guard and asked, Did a girl come in an hour ago? Yes, she said that she dropped something in the classroom, but she hasn't come out yet. The security guard thought that something might have happened, right? Gu Linshin went in with a dark expression. There was no one in the classroom or in front of him. When Gu Linshin turned to the back of the school and saw the figure sitting on the lawn, his tense muscles relaxed. However, his expression immediately turned cold and ugly, which was especially scary. Luo Luoli lowered her head and thought about something. Then she saw the grass that she had broken and was shocked. She quickly let go and apologized to Xiao Qiao. I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. As she spoke, she looked up and saw Gu Linshin walking toward her. His aura was fierce and his eyes were terrifying. It was as if he wanted to swallow her alive. Luo Luoli was shocked. She instinctively wanted to run. While she was thinking this, her body had already acted. She stood up and ran. Stop! I won't. Gu Linshan's face darkened. His figure flashed quickly, and he directly grabbed Luo Oli in his hand. Ah! I told you not to run. Didn't you hear me? Gu Linshan grabbed her. Chapter 534. Luo Luoli struggled and tried to pull Gu Linshan's hand away. However, she couldn't pull it off. Her arm was still hurting. Oh, you're hurting me. I'm going to tell my mother that you bullied me. Gu Linshan's heart softened when he saw her teary eyes. He picked her up and sat her down on the grass. He stood in front of her and looked down at her. What's the fuss about? Luo Luoli rolled her eyes and glared at Gu Linshan. She didn't say anything. Gu Linshan felt better when he saw her ugly but adorable look. He even wanted to laugh. He frowned at his uncontrollable emotions. In the past, he was very strict about controlling his emotions. Because of his personality, even if he had any emotions, he wouldn't show it. However, because of Luo Luoli, he always became different from himself. This made him unhappy, but he couldn't suppress the thirst he felt when he saw Luo Luoli. What happened? Gu Linshan suppressed his anger and asked, Why don't you ask the teacher you hired with a high salary? Luo Luoli said angrily, I'm asking you. Gu Linshan's expression was cold. Luo Luoli thought to herself, If I wasn't afraid of you, I wouldn't have bothered with you. She made me copy the test papers 10 times as punishment. I do it every day. This must be corporal punishment. Did you copy? Gu Linshan asked. Luo Luoli felt a little guilty. She was also a little flustered. Was Gu Linshan going to scold her? She had copied for the first 2 days, but she ran out without copying today. I didn't copy today. Luo Luoli carefully observed Gu Linshan's expression as she spoke. How many days did you copy? 2 days. But it's already a lot, little uncle. Later on, when I was eating, my hand trembled when I held the chopsticks. Luo Luoli spoke of this. Bitter tears came again. Gu Linshan's face immediately darkened. He was irritated and angry. Who told you to copy? If you don't know, tell me. Luo Luoli was stunned. Was Gu Linshan helping her because her crying had worked? Thus, she continued, What should I tell you? Weren't you the one who found that teacher? You brought her here. Wasn't everything she did your idea? Gu Linshan did not say anything, but his expression was extremely ugly. That woman was courting death. Then he squatted down. Let me see your hand. Loli Luo's bright and clear eyes turned, and then she stretched out her claws. Her slender and white hand trembled as she stretched out. Gu Linshan pinched it in his palm. It was extremely soft and tender. He looked at the palm and the back of her hand. Then he saw a red mark on her middle finger. This was obviously caused by holding the pen too much. At this moment, Luo Luoli was as pitiful as she could be. She was still trembling in Gu Linshan's palm. Gu Linshan looked up and glanced at her. Don't tremble. I can already see how pitiful you are. Oh. Luo Luoli stopped trembling. She was able to control her hand freely. Then Gu Linshan's expression changed. He was extremely cold. No matter how pitiful you are, you shouldn't have run out. Don't you know that your knee is injured? Luo Luoli was stunned. Wasn't he changing his attitude too quickly? Just a moment ago, he was still so concerned about her. What is it that you can't tell me? Luo Luoli was not to be outdone. I already said that you were the one who brought the teacher here. I don't dare to talk to you. Gu Linshan's face was cold and stiff. He looked at her sharply with his dark eyes. Luo Luoli felt a cold wind on her neck. She could not help but shrink back. Since you are so self-righteous, I have something to ask you. What is it? Luo Luoli was slightly stunned. When your mother moved last time, did she call me for dinner? Luo Luoli's nerves were tense. Little uncle, let's go back quickly. It's going to rain. It won't be good if your expensive suit gets wet. As she spoke, she pointed her finger at the sky. Then she wanted to turn around and run. Gu Linshan immediately ran over her. Luo Luoli was pinned down on the grass. The sky above was blocked by Gu Linshan. Only his cold and unfriendly expression could be seen. His bright eyes were filled with shock and panic. Little uncle, what are you doing? This is a school. Don't mess around. What did you call me? Luo Luoli's eyes widened. Her face was puffed up and her lips were pursed tightly. You're not going to call me? I've already called you, so you're not going to call me anymore. Luo Luoli pursed her lips. Calling him in front of his face and calling him over the phone were two different things. Just as she insisted on not screaming, her waist tightened and she couldn't help but scream, "Ah!" Luo Luoli's yellow face was about to be covered by the redness that appeared on her face. Don't do this to me. Are you going to call me or not? Shun. Luo Luoli was forced to call him. Call me again. Shun. Luo Luoli had just opened her mouth to call out when her rosy lips were swallowed up in the next second. Gu Linchen pressed Luo Luoli down on the grass and forcefully claimed her delicious taste. Luo Luoli could not push Gu Linchen away. There was no other way. She could not imagine being kissed by Gu Linchen on the grass in school. She gradually lost the oxygen and could not muster up any strength to resist. She didn't feel like she was lying on the grass, but rather on the ocean. Ripples appeared in the water, softly yet tenaciously supporting her body. The blue sky was also dizzy in her mind, blurring her vision. Gu Linchen slightly pulled the connection between the two of them. Luo Luoli's breathing was rapid. Her eyes were misty and beautiful. His eyes were dark. Luo Luoli woke up after the oxygen in her brain was sufficient. When she met Gu Linchen's deep black eyes, her heart skipped a beat. Luo Luoli hurriedly rolled and crawled to sit on the grass as far away as possible. Why are you running? Will I eat you? Luo Luoli nodded vigorously, implying that he would eat her. Gu Linchen's breathing suddenly became heavy. That kind of response was unintentionally fatal. Luo Luoli noticed the obvious change in Gu Linchen's eyes. It seemed to be more dangerous. She was so scared that she trembled. For some reason, Luo Luoli felt that Gu Linchen did not just want to kiss her. Gu Linchen was so scary. It was as if he was not human. Gu Linchen did not look at her. If he did, the fire in his body would not be extinguished. He simply lay on the grass and faced the blue sky. Perhaps this would be the only way to extinguish his fire. Luo Luoli sat there motionless. From time to time, she looked at Gu Linchen with a guarded expression. She thought to herself, what is he doing? Chapter 535. Luo Luoli wrapped her arms around Gu Linchen's broad shoulders. She was no longer as flustered as before, but she was still nervous. Little uncle, are we going home? You want me to correct you again? Gu Linchen glanced at her coldly. But it's not good to call me that. If I call you that in front of my mother, she'll scold me. Luo Luoli started to find excuses. Your mother isn't here now. Luo Luoli's head fell weakly on Gu Linchen's shoulder. She had completely resigned herself to her fate because she knew that she would always have to call him that in the end. Shun. That weak voice sounded soft. It was right next to his ear. Gu Linchen's heart skipped a beat. His hands trembled, and he almost lost his grip on Luo Luoli. Luo Luoli was still immersed in the sadness and despair of being forced upon her by Gu Linchen. She didn't notice that something was wrong with Gu Linchen until they got into the car. Luo Luoli thought that she finally had the freedom to choose a seat. However, even after they got into the car, Gu Linchen still refused to let go of her. His arms around her waist were still so tight. Little uncle, let me do it myself. Luo Luoli pouted unhappily. Are my legs not as comfortable as the seat? Luo Luoli shook her head. No. When Gu Linchen looked at her coldly, she added, the muscles on your legs are not as soft as the sofa. They're hard. Gu Linchen was speechless. Just as the two of them were in a stalemate, Gu Linchen's phone vibrated and he heard the buzzing sound. Luo Luoli saw that Gu Linchen was about to answer the call and wanted to slip down from his lap. However, although Gu Linchen was on the phone, his arms around Luo Luoli were not weak at all. Luo Luoli bit her lip angrily. What's the matter? Gu Linchen answered the phone. The person who called was none other than old Master Gu. What I'm asking you is, have you thought it through? Do you think I need to think about it? I think I've already made it clear to you. No, you must get married. Old Master Gu insisted. I didn't say I wouldn't get married. So you're saying that you don't like Lin Shanting? Fine, find one yourself. No matter who you marry, I'll agree to it, okay? Old Master Gu was so angry that he was out of breath over the phone. He had already compromised. He didn't want Gu Linshin to remain unmarried. What did he look like? However, he couldn't control his son. Gu Linshin hung up without a word. Luo Luoli carefully glanced at Gu Linshin's side profile. From the conversation between Gu Linshin and the person on the phone, she guessed that the caller was Old Master Gu and that he was urging Gu Linshin to get married. Luo Luoli was secretly gloating. Who told you to bully me? What are you laughing at? Luo Luoli was stunned. Did she just show her inner thoughts on her face? She was laughing? I'm not laughing, right? Little uncle. Shin, you must be seeing things. It's easy to see things when you're angry. Luo Luoli tugged at Gu Linshin's arm around her waist. Can you let me sit in the chair? I want to sit by myself. Gu Linshin let go. He wanted to see what this girl could say. Feeling his arm loosen, Luo Luoli slid down from Gu Linshin's body. Luo Luoli felt that she should comfort Gu Linshin. Her eyes darted around as she said, Shun. She wasn't used to being called that. She cleared her throat and continued. Do you still not want to get married? Do you have any suggestions? Gu Linshin looked at her with his dark eyes. I don't dare to suggest anything, but I feel that you'll have to get married one day. You will not get married, right? And you see, my 18th birthday is coming soon. I'll be going back to my mother's side. You'll be alone then, Luo Luoli said with a guilty conscience but understanding tone. Gu Linshin's eyes darkened. He had forgotten what he had said before, that he would let Luo Luoli leave when she turned 18. No. Shun, do you think I'm right? Luo Luoli asked with bright and expectant eyes. That makes sense. Gu Linshin looked at Luo Luoli's beautiful eyes and nodded. Luo Luoli seemed to have seen hope and continued. Think about it. Regardless of whether I need your permission to get married or not, it's undeniable that we'll have to get married eventually. It's not like it's just the two of us getting married. It's not right for us to live together like this. Even if we're biological uncles, we shouldn't be like this. Isn't that right? Yes. Luo Luoli breathed a sigh of relief in her heart. Gu Linshin wasn't that difficult to talk to. Perhaps today was the day. Forget it. Luo Luoli felt like she had picked up a bargain with such an easy conversation. Suddenly, a small sense of accomplishment ignited in her, as if the two of them shared the same values. Gu Linshin, who had been sitting lazily, suddenly shifted to a slightly slanted position. He crossed his long legs and leaned slightly closer to Luo Luoli. It was as if he had something important to say, and his aura was oppressive. He said in a low voice, The day your legs get out of bed is your birthday? Luo Luoli seemed to have just remembered that this was indeed the case and nodded. Yes. As she thought about it, it coincided with what she had just said. She continued, At that time, I'll be going back to my mother's side. Then, if you don't get married, you'll be alone. Okay, I'll get married on your birthday. Luo Luoli's eyes widened. Gu Linshin was especially different today. It was as if he was a completely different person. Little uncle, can I pull off your face? Luo Luoli didn't even ask for Gu Linshin's permission. After she finished speaking, she reached out and pinched Gu Linshin's face, directly pulling it off. Gu Linshin was speechless. It's really you. You're so easy to talk to today. I don't think it's like you at all, Luo Luoli said in surprise. Gu Linshin looked at Luo Luoli expressionlessly. In his heart, he wondered if lowly Luo would climb over his head one day. No one had ever dared to pinch his face. Before they could pinch his face, he had already crippled their hands. Luo Luoli thought of something, and her expression became serious. But little uncle, isn't this too fast? She didn't even care to call him Shen now. Gu Linshin didn't even correct her. You don't want me to get married? Gu Linshin asked. That's not what I meant. I want you to get married, but I also want you to be happy. Luo Luoli had a pure smile on her face. Gu Linshin didn't say anything, but there were ripples in his dark eyes, which were extremely deep. So, isn't 2 days too hasty? Luo Luoli was puzzled and then suddenly realized, You must have a bride that you like, right? It can't be Lin Xiangting, right? You don't think Lin Xiangting is good? Gu Linchen asked. His dark eyes pierced through her heart. Luo Luoli was a little awkward. You can't say that. Anyway, it's fine as long as little uncle is happy. It's not her. Chapter 536. Keep guessing. Gu Linchen's expression was cold. Luo Luoli didn't notice at all. She was immersed in her own curious guesses. Could it be Tang Bao? No, the Tang Bao hasn't divorced yet. They shouldn't be divorced, right? Don't tell me I didn't know about it. Why don't you guess about your mother? Gu Linchen growled. Luo Luoli shrank back in fright. She asked in surprise, You like my mother? No, if that's the case, should I call you Dad? No, that's weird. I don't want to. I won't agree. Gu Linchen pinched the space between his eyebrows and suppressed his violent emotions. Otherwise, he was afraid that he would throw her out of the car. Luo Luoli looked at Gu Linchen's tired expression. She thought to herself, did I guess wrong again? But she only knew a few women by Gu Linchen's side. They returned to the mansion. When they walked into the living room, they saw Wang Ye's fidgeting. Luo Luoli was carried into the living room by Gu Linchen when she got out of the car. When Luo Luoli saw Wang Yace, she snorted and turned her face to the side. Young Master Gu. Wang Yace immediately came up to him. When she saw Luo Luoli in her arms, she smiled and said, You can't go out with your leg injury. Also, those homework questions will be on your college entrance exam. You can't be willful and not do them. I'm your teacher, so I have to be responsible for you. Even if I'm in front of young Master Gu, I'll still say that to live up to my responsibilities. Luo Luoli bit her lip. She didn't want to look at her. She didn't want to hear what she had to say either. Gu Linchen went upstairs without saying a word. He carried Luo Luoli back to the bed in the room. Stay here. I'll get you something to eat. Okay. Luo Luoli lay down on the bed and hugged the pillow. I don't want to study at home. Got it. Luo Luoli was overjoyed. She turned to look at Gu Linchen with bright eyes. Uncle, are you serious? Gu Linchen ignored her and turned to leave. Luo Luoli pouted and continued to lie on the bed. She thought to herself that if she agreed not to study at home, she would chase Wang Yace away, right? Gu Linchen went downstairs. Walking into the hall, Arthur Wang was still there. Young Master Gu, why don't we let Luo Luoli take a break this morning and start teaching in the afternoon? Wang Yace said. As a teacher, you don't seem to be very good at reading people's expressions. What? Wang Yace was stunned. Gu Linchen's bodyguard brought the test paper over. Gu Linchen took the paper and threw it at Wang Yace's face. The sharp edge of the paper scratched her face, leaving a bloody gash. Ouch! Wang Yace stepped back in pain. Go outside, where I can't see you, and copy it 20 times. You can leave after you're done. Gu Linchen added, copy it while kneeling. With that, he left. Wang Yace couldn't believe it and said, I won't copy it. It's not up to you. Gu Linchen snapped his fingers and a few bodyguards came in to restrain her. Wang Yace was restrained and couldn't move. She shouted angrily at Gu Linchen, This is a lawful society. What are you trying to do? I'm the law. Gu Linchen's voice disappeared along with his figure as he entered the kitchen. Wang Yace had never been treated like this before. She was only hired with a high salary and knew about Gu Linchen's power, but she didn't expect him to be so arrogant. Wang Yace couldn't move under the restraint of the bodyguards. When they went outside, they made her kneel on the hard ground. Moreover, she was wearing a dress. Her bare skin was hard on the ground. Even if she just knelt, she still felt pain. Let me go. I'm going to call the police. The bodyguard didn't waste time talking to her and slapped her. Wang Yace's face turned to the side and blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. She didn't dare to struggle anymore. Another bodyguard put the test paper and book in front of her and ordered, copy it 20 times. You better know your place or you'll suffer. Wang Yace, who had been slapped, didn't dare to disobey. She believed that if she didn't obey, these people wouldn't be merciful. She could only kneel down obediently and concentrate on copying the test paper. There were two sides to the test paper. Copying it 20 times was definitely not something that could be done in a short period of time. Luo Luoli would need a day to copy it 10 times, and that was in a comfortable position. Not to mention Wang Yace's current situation. Luo Luoli, who was sitting on the bed waiting for lunch, didn't know what was going on outside. She only needed to ask Gu Linxin to chase Wang Yace away. She didn't think about anything else. A day passed quickly, but for Wang Yace, who was kneeling outside, every second felt like a year. When the sky turned dark, her knees were already bleeding from kneeling, but she still couldn't get up before she finished copying. The bodyguards were watching, so she didn't dare to slack off. She was in so much pain that she wanted to die. In the middle of the night, she fainted twice, but the bodyguards woke her up with cold water. Anyway, he couldn't stop. He had to finish before he could stop. By the time Wang Yace finished copying, it was already early in the morning. Her hands were so tired that they didn't feel like they were hers. This wasn't a big deal. The key was her legs. She was so tired that she sat on the ground. There were 2 pools of blood where she knelt. It was a shocking sight. She struggled for nearly 10 minutes before she stood up. When she reached the outside of the mansion, Wang Yace immediately took out her phone and called her relative who was working at the police station. "Cousin, I've been bullied. Someone dares to bully you? Who is it? Tell me." The voice was mixed with anger. "Gu Linxin. Gu Linxin? Why does it sound so familiar? Is it someone from the Gu family?" The cousin's voice was filled with surprise. "How did you offend him? I was tutoring his niece, and we had some conflicts. Then he made me kneel there and copy the test papers for the whole night. He's a madman. Quickly bring people to arrest him." Wang Yace was filled with hatred at this moment. "Forget about it. As long as you're fine, it's fine," the cousin said awkwardly. "What do you mean? You're not helping me with such a small matter. I don't usually ask you for help." "Yes, you don't usually ask me for help. But when you do, it's such a big problem. How can I help you? Do you know that Gu Linxin? Young Master Gu is definitely not someone to be trifled with. You're lucky that you're not missing an arm or a leg. Also, you don't know that Gu Linxin is close to the king of D City, Di Hao Ian. Aren't you courting death?" Wang Yace was angry, but there was nothing she could do. She thought that having a relative working at the police station would be beneficial to her. She thought about how the police didn't dare to do anything to Gu Linxin. So, was it Gu Linxin scarier than she thought? It was Luo Luoli's birthday in 2 days. She felt that she wasn't even as happy as getting out of bed on her birthday. Chapter 537. It was her coming-of-age birthday, after all. She had to think about what to wear. She found a dress. It looked like it was from last year, but it was nothing to her. It was normal to wear clothes for 2 to 3 years. Just as Luo Luoli was taking off her pajamas, a black figure appeared in the dressing room. Without warning, a black figure entered the dressing room. Luo Luoli looked over in shock and met a pair of deep, black eyes. Her pajamas were ripped off her upper body, revealing her fair shoulders and delicate collarbones. Gu Linxin's seductive skin tone and contours were revealed in his black eyes. His gaze became even more attractive, as if he was going to suck Luo Luo in. Luo Luoli came back to her senses. She was so frightened that she quickly put on her pajamas. She immediately became unhappy. "Little uncle, you can't enter my room so casually. You even enter my cloakroom. There's nowhere I can't go here, including your room." Gu Linxin was too domineering and unreasonable. Luo Luoli was speechless. She thought to herself that she shouldn't argue with Gu Linxin over this. After all, she wouldn't have to come back here after today. So she acted very magnanimous and didn't argue with him. "Why are you looking for me?" Luo Luoli asked. If he said that he came to her dressing room for no reason, she would flip out. "Come out," Gu Linxin said and went to the bedroom. Luo Luoli was puzzled. What's the matter? She hadn't even changed her clothes yet. She walked out of the dressing room, puzzled. Luo Luoli saw a dress on the bed. It was so beautiful that she couldn't take her eyes off it. "Little uncle, what's this? Is it for me?" Luoli asked. Seeing Gu Linxin's silent gaze, she knew that it was for her. She went forward and picked up the dress. She compared it to her body and asked happily, "Little uncle, is this a birthday present for me? It's so beautiful. Even the women's clothing stores don't have such a beautiful dress." Gu Linshen didn't say anything, but in his heart, he thought that the dress she was wearing couldn't compare to this one. It was tailor-made for her. After all, today was a day of great significance. "Let me see." "All right." Loli took the dress and walked towards the walk-in closet. When she was at the door of the walk-in closet, she thought of something and stopped in her tracks. She turned around and looked at Gu Linshen with a hint of warning. "Uncle, you're not allowed to come in." "What if I want to go in?" Gu Linshen asked calmly. Luo Luoli was anxious. "Today is my 18th birthday. I'm the boss. You have to listen to me. Whatever I say goes. If you don't go in and change, I'll make you change in front of me." Gu Linshen's gaze was dangerous. Luo Luoli's little heart trembled. Hugging the dress, she turned around and entered the cloakroom. He wondered if Gu Linshen would really come in. His words just now meant that he wouldn't come in. As Luo Luoli changed into the dress, she glanced at the door of the walk-in closet from time to time. She was afraid that Gu Linshen would come in. Thinking that he would come in, she immediately covered herself with the dress. She was always prepared. Fortunately, after she changed into the dress, Gu Linshen didn't come in. She heaved a sigh of relief. She walked out of the walk-in closet in the dress. When Gu Linshen saw the light pink figure, his dark eyes were immediately stunned. Her slender and graceful figure, her snow-white skin, and her youthful sweetness were so clear and alluring. Of course, this was referring to her figure. It had nothing to do with her head or face. Luo Luoli pinched the hem of the dress and twirled in front of Gu Linshen. She giggled and said, "Do I look good? Don't I look good?" Gu Linshen looked at her faintly. Then he put his arm around her slender waist and fastened it to his abdomen. His thin lips seductively moved close to Luo Luoli's ear. His hot breath made Luo Luoli's entire body tremble. "You look good. You really look good." Gu Linshen's voice seemed to be eroded by something. It was hoarse. Luo Luoli gasped in shock. She immediately struggled out of Gu Linshen's arms. She stood not too far away and glared at Gu Linshen. "Little uncle, how can you say such things? Is there a problem?" "Of course there is." Luo Luoli was too embarrassed to say it out loud, but she still wanted Gu Linshen to know. Such words can only be said between husband and wife. Gu Linshen's dark eyes changed slightly, but he didn't say anything. "Can we go now? My mother must be waiting for us. I still want to go back and help her." After Luo Luoli finished speaking, she saw Gu Linshen walking towards her. Just as she was panicking about what he was going to do, she was lifted up in his arms. "Ah, little uncle, put me down. What are you doing?" "I'm carrying you, but my knee is already healed. It won't hurt to walk less." Gu Linshen's toughness made Luo Luoli unable to resist at all. She could only angrily let Gu Linshen carry her into the car. After getting into the car, her hand touched something beside her. Luo Luoli took a look and saw that it was a box. "Is this a gift for my mother?" Luo Luoli asked curiously. "Open it and take a look." Luo Luoli thought to herself, could it be that it wasn't a gift for her mother, but for her? After opening it, she realized that it was really prepared for her. It was a pair of flat-soled leather shoes with sequins. They were exquisite and beautiful. Luo Luoli's eyes were filled with surprise. She was wearing a beautiful dress, but she was still wearing a pair of white casual shoes. They didn't match. If she wore this pair of shoes, it would be just right. Gu Linshen took the shoes from her hands. Then Luo Luoli watched as Gu Linshen grabbed her feet, took off the white casual shoes on her feet, and put on the new shoes for her. Luo Luoli's expression was a little dazed, and her body stiffened. She watched as Gu Linshen put on the shoes on her left foot, then her right foot. She realized that Gu Linshen was very strange today. Or did she not realize how good he was in the past? But no matter what, he wouldn't put shoes on a girl, right? For a man, it was as serious as putting down his pride. Especially for a man as strong and noble as Gu Linshen, it was even more unbelievable. Gu Linshen put on the shoes for her naturally and put down her feet. He looked at Luo Lolly's stunned expression and asked calmly, "What's wrong?" "Ah, nothing. I just feel that little uncle is especially easy to talk to today. Didn't you say that it's your birthday today and that you're the most important?" "That's right, but I didn't expect you to take it seriously." Luo Luoli smiled a little embarrassedly. It seemed that wearing shoes had nothing to do with her birthday. Gu Linshan looked at her bashful expression and stared deeply at her without saying a word. Chapter 538. Her eyes sparkled as she said, "Little uncle, thank you for taking care of me all this time. Even if I don't live here, I'll still visit you often. Besides, aren't you going to get married soon? When you give birth to a son, he'll be my little cousin. I'll treat him well, very well." Okay. Once again, Luo Loli felt that Gu Linshan was a little different today. It was as if he was a different person. But she thought that perhaps it was because they were going to separate. Only then would she feel touched and be easier to talk to. Luo Luoli's coming-of-age birthday meal was all meticulously prepared by Luo Meiwan. There was also a birthday cake, and there were only 3 people. But Luo Luoli was already very satisfied. She didn't need too many people. In fact, she had even thought that on her birthday, there would only be her and Luo Meiwan. She wanted it to be simple. The 18th birthday of a poor family was always simple. But Gu Linshan was a complete accident. She didn't expect that she would stick to this little uncle who wasn't even close to her, and for such a long time. Until now, Gu Linshan had always been present on her birthday. It was very magical. This magical feeling made Luo Luoli feel very touched when she made her wish. When it ended, Luo Luoli still followed Gu Linshan out. In any case, her things were still at Gu Linshan's place. They were all moved over in the afternoon. When they went downstairs, Luo Luoli, wearing a new dress and new shoes, walked and danced. She even spun in circles, making the hem of her dress fly. She was very happy. When Gu Linshan looked over, she giggled at him. "You're so happy?" "Yes." Luo Luoli nodded. "It's my birthday today, and I'm wearing such a beautiful dress. Of course I'm in a good mood. If you like beautiful dresses so much, why didn't you buy them with the money I gave you?" Gu Linshan asked. "I wanted to save the money for college." "All right, little uncle, I was in the top 10 in class last time. What kind of college do you think I can go to with my grades? What should I fill in the college application form?" "I'll tell you later." "Later? Can't he say it now? I won't be staying with you in the mansion later. It won't be convenient." Gu Linshan did not say anything and got into the car. Luo Luoli curled her lips and followed him into the car. After getting into the car didn't start. Gu Linshan suddenly thought of something and asked Luo Luoli, "Is your household register here?" "Yes, it's at my place." "What's wrong?" Luo Luoli asked in confusion. "Go get it. Is it useful?" Luo Luoli asked. "Yes." Luo Luoli was about to get out of the car to get it when she stopped and looked at Gu Linshan in surprise. "Uncle, you're not thinking of buying me a house, are you?" She remembered that buying a house required a household registration. "Little uncle, there's no need for that. I'm already very happy that you gave me a dress and shoes. I'm still so young, so I don't need a house. I can live with my mother. When I enter university, I can still work. It's not a problem at all. Why are you talking so much? Just go." Gu Linshan's eyes darkened. Luo Luoli pursed her lips and got out of the car, unhappily. She muttered as she walked upstairs. "So be it. It's not like he's spending my money." When she went upstairs, Luo Meiwan was surprised to see her. "Did you leave something behind?" "No. Little uncle wants me to buy a house with my household register." "What house?" "It's my birthday today. Little uncle might want to give me a house." "What? That won't do." "I said that too, but little uncle suddenly got angry at me, so I came to get it." Luo Meiwan thought that Gu Linshan was really good to Luo Luoli. She couldn't help but feel touched. "Mom, don't worry about it. Anyway, he thinks it's too much money and wants to buy it for me. I'll accept it. Is that okay? If I don't take the household register, she won't let me go downstairs. Mom, just give it to me. At most, I'll return the money for the house to him after I work and earn some money. What do you think?" Luo Meiwan knew Gu Linshan's temper. No one dared to go against his wishes. She could only turn around and take the household register. Luo Luoli took the household register and got into the car. It was given to Gu Linshin. Gu Linshin took it, flipped through it, then closed it and stopped talking. Little uncle, if you really want to buy a house for me, I'll accept it. But I'll return it to you when I earn some money in the future. Gu Linshin didn't say anything. He looked out of the car window. Luo Luoli felt that Gu Linshin was really strange. She couldn't figure out what he wanted to do at all. Gu Linshin didn't say anything. Luo Luoli also sat by the car door and looked out the car window. Gu Linshin retracted his gaze from the car window and looked at Luo Luoli's little face. It was full of dangerous calculations. The car came to a stop. Luo Luoli looked out of the window and said, "We haven't arrived yet, have we?" "Get out of the car," Gu Linshin said. Luo Luoli got out of the car. After getting out of the car, she looked up and saw that the doors of the Civil Affairs Bureau were wide open and facing her. "Little uncle, what are you doing here?" Luo Luoli asked in confusion. "To register my marriage." "You're getting married today?" Luo Luoli was confused. "On her birthday?" "Yes. But it's not good for me to come to your wedding, is it?" Luo Luoli asked again. "Go in," Gu Linshin ordered forcefully. Luo Luoli walked into the Civil Affairs Bureau with a confused look on her face. She was confused. She didn't see anyone marrying Gu Linshin inside. Luo Luoli looked at Gu Linshin as he walked in. She walked behind Gu Linshin and looked at the tall figure in front of her. She walked slower and slower. Her coming-of-age birthday, a dress, helping her put on her shoes, a household register. Luo Luoli felt that her legs were weak. "Why aren't you walking?" Gu Linshin turned to look at her. "Well, little uncle, I don't want to go to your wedding. I think I need to pee." Luo Luoli wanted to leave after she finished speaking. However, she felt something tighten around her waist, and her back pressed against Gu Linshin's strong chest. "It won't be fun if you don't go." I don't want to go in. Little uncle, I want to go home." Luo Luoli pulled at the arm and hand around her waist. She used all her strength, but it was useless. "Why don't you want to go in?" Gu Linshin whispered into her ear. "Ah." Luo Luoli's whole body trembled. It was a strange feeling. "Little girl, where are you going?" Luo Luoli's body suddenly stiffened. After all, she hadn't been able to verify her own thoughts. Now that Gu Linshin had said that, her thoughts seemed to have been confirmed. Luo Luoli's heart beat wildly, as if it was under high pressure. She stuttered, "Little uncle, what are you going to do?" "Get married." A scorching aura gushed out. Lowly Luo's body trembled again, and she was about to cry. Who are you marrying? You're so smart. Can't you guess?" Chapter 539. Be good, don't cry. Today is a big day. Gu Linshin was like a gentle beast as he comforted Luo Luoli, who was in a daze. Then he carried Luo Luoli in a princess carry. "Ah, little uncle." No matter how much Luo Luoli struggled, she was still carried into the car by Gu Linshin in the end. Luo Luoli couldn't believe what was happening to her. She was the one that Gu Linshin wanted to marry? This must be a misunderstanding. Or something was wrong. Or maybe it was her imagination. She was in a daze as Gu Linshin pressed her down to take photos. Her eyes were wide open in disbelief in the photos they took. Then it was time to register. "I don't want to sign it. Let me go. Help." Luo Luoli pleaded for help in a pitiful voice. She shouted to the staff next to her, "Help me call the police. I don't want to get married. Help me call the police." However, Luo Luoli's desperate pleas for help were ignored by the staff. Even the staff at hand moved faster. Soon, Gu Linshin and Luo Luoli's marriage registration was completed. All the way to the car. Luo Luoli still hadn't recovered from the shock. This blow was too great. Who would have thought that on the day she came of age, she would become a married woman without even thinking about the freedom of adulthood? And the person who made her like this was the little uncle she respected, Gu Linshin. What was this? Luo Luoli looked at Gu Linshin blankly. "What's wrong? Are you overjoyed?" Gu Linshin asked calmly. "You? How could you do this to me?" Luo Luoli asked sadly. How have I wronged you? I just came of age today. That's your luck. I want to get out of the car. Luo Luoli shouted. Gu Linshin allowed her to do so. The car stopped by the bridge. Luo Luoli got out of the car and stood by the guardrail on the bridge. Looking at the undulating river below, she was so angry that she threw the marriage certificate in her hand down. Then, he looked at Gu Linshin in a threatening manner. Gu Linshin's expression didn't even change. I'm telling you, I won't admit it. It's good to throw it away. You can't get a divorce even if you want to in the future. Gu Linshin looked at Luo Luoli's shocked expression and told her, if you want a divorce, you need a marriage certificate. Luo Luoli's eyes widened and she stomped her feet anxiously. Why didn't you say so earlier? Then she climbed up the railing and prepared to jump down to get the marriage certificate. Gu Linshin held her waist with a relaxed expression. Let me go, you big bad guy. You scoundrel who abducts beautiful young girls. Lowly Luo struggled to jump into the river. It's exposed. Luo Luoli's body stiffened, and she quickly got down from the railing. She pressed down the hem of her dress and looked at Gu Linshin warily. Call me hubby. No, I won't. Luo Luoli shook her head. How did this turn of events happen? Little uncle, shun hubby? If you don't call me hubby, we'll consummate our marriage tonight. Luo Luoli looked at Gu Linshin in shock. Are you kidding? Although my body is a little mature, it's not fully ripe yet. Fruit that's not fully ripe doesn't taste good. It's best when it's half ripe. No. Luo Luoli was so frightened that she took a step back and hugged herself tightly. I'm telling you, don't do anything stupid. So are you going to call me hubby or not? Luo Luoli bit her lip, feeling wronged. Gu Linshin went forward and picked her up. I don't want to consummate our marriage. I don't want to consummate my marriage. Luo Luoli's voice was muffled by the closing car door. Luo Luoli struggled to get out of the car after the door was closed. If you continue to make a fuss, we'll consummate our marriage in the car. Gu Linshin was trying to scare her. Luo Luoli immediately became obedient. She shrank back by the car door and glared at Gu Linshin bitterly. Wasn't he afraid of scaring her with such shameless words? Gu Linshin looked at the marriage certificate in his hand. He rolled down the car window and flung the marriage certificate out of his hand. It flew out and fell off the bridge. Luo Luoli was stunned and did not have time to stop him. Why did you throw it? Since you threw it away, there's no point in keeping mine. How is it no use? You'll need it when we get a divorce. Gu Linshin reached out and pulled her in front of him. Luo Luoli was held tightly in Gu Linshin's arms. He pinched her beautiful chin and lifted it up, forcing them to look at each other. There's no need. Also, happy birthday. Before Luo Luoli could react, her face was covered by a thick shadow. Her small mouth was swallowed in an instant. Happy? She was in so much pain that she wished she was dead. Luo Luoli felt that anyone in this world would have a happier 18th birthday than her. Oh my God, was it possible to turn back time? If it was possible, she would rather be a beggar and wander the world than meet such a scary and difficult man like Gu Linshin. What did Gu Linshin mean by this? Marriage. It had to be when both parties were in love with each other. Even if one party was in love with the other, they could still get married. But what was the situation with her and Gu Linshin as a couple? It was more like family. Where did the love and affection come from? Luo Luoli might have understood why Gu Linshin was in such a hurry to force her to get married. He was forced by old Master Gu. After getting out of the car, Luo Luoli felt a little dizzy. She touched her lips with her fingers and felt that they did not belong to her anymore. It was especially numbing. She glared at Gu Linshin and turned to walk into the mansion. Young Master Gu, there's news here. Gu Linshin took the phone and looked at it. His face was gloomy. Go and find out who did this. Yes. Luo Luoli returned to her room. The anger on her face could not be calmed down. At this moment, her phone rang. She looked at it and saw that it was Luo Meiwan. She suddenly felt a sense of despair. She could avoid facing it for a while, but could she not face it for the rest of her life? She picked up the phone. Mom, did you buy the house? Luo Meiwan asked. Luo Luoli was actually amused by Luo Majuan's question. You child, even if I bought you a house, you don't have to be so happy. After all, this thing doesn't belong to us. We can't be greedy. Luo Luoli was roaring in her heart. It's not that I was greedy for Gu Linchen. It's Gu Linchen who was greedy for me. I sold myself. Mom, I didn't buy the house. If you didn't buy it, why are you so happy? Luo Meiwan asked with a sigh of relief. Luo Luoli really wanted to cry and tell her mother about her grievances. But she did not dare to. She could not say, Mom, I'm married to your brother. Luo Luoli wondered if her mother, who had always been good-tempered, would beat her up. Nothing. I'm just happy that you didn't buy a house. Then why did you get the household register if you didn't buy a house? Luo Luoli's head was in a mess. Then she thought of an idea. Mom, I still have something to do. I'm going to work. Then you're not coming back today? I still have something to deal with here. I'll go back later. That's all. Luo Luoli quickly hung up the phone. Chapter 540. Or perhaps it had already jumped out, and she had just seen it. Gu Linchen and his niece from the Gu group? Was this Gu Linchen her uncle? Luo Luoli was completely dumbfounded. Who was reporting blindly? What kind of mess was this? Luo Luoli saw Gu Linchen walking in and immediately showed him her phone. She was furious. Uncle, look at this. What are they saying on the internet? I saw it. It's all your fault. Otherwise, things wouldn't have turned out like this. Luo Luoli stomped her feet anxiously and turned around to pack her things. I want to go back to my mother's place. I don't want to stay here. She felt a grip on her wrist as she packed her things. Her vision blurred, and she was pushed against the wall. A shadow loomed over her head. Luo Luoli widened her eyes in shock. Every nerve in her body was stretched taut. You don't have to pack up. Get the servants to move it to my room. Why? You don't seem to understand what kind of relationship we have now. Gu Linchen's breath was fragrant and domineering. Luo Luoli almost stopped breathing. I'm still studying now. The college entrance examination is coming soon. It's not suitable. We'll only know if it's suitable after we do it. Luo Luoli was so scared that she felt dizzy. She was the one who had seen Gu Linchen. She felt that it was definitely not suitable. She was scared to death, okay? She could be torn into two halves, okay? Luo Luoli spent the entire day avoiding Gu Linchen. Gu Linchen would occasionally settle some matters in the study, but he would not go out. It was as if she was a thief. Everything in her room was moved to Gu Linchen's room. Luo Luoli was terrified at night. Because she couldn't escape, she locked the door after taking a shower. She was afraid that Gu Linchen would barge in. Fortunately, after washing, the door was still intact. After she was done, she walked out of the bathroom. Gu Linchen was standing by the bed, untying the watch on his wrist. His dark eyes were looking at Luo Luoli. She had showered, but her hair and face were still the same. He knew that the disguise on her face could only be washed off with a specific potion. Luo Luoli saw Gu Linchen staring at her. She was so scared that her legs turned to jelly. She did not get on the bed. Instead, she stood on the other side of the bed and looked at Gu Linchen from afar. Gu Linchen was not interested in looking at her from afar. He turned around and walked into the bathroom. Luo Luoli clutched her little heart in fright. When her gaze landed on the bed, she felt like fainting. But if she didn't sleep on the bed, where would she sleep? On the sofa? She believed that if she dared to sleep on the sofa, Gu Linchen would dare to take her bed. Luo Luoli crawled onto the bed as if she was being tortured. If she crawled in front of Gu Linchen, it would be even more embarrassing. After getting on the bed, she lay down on the edge of the bed and wrapped herself tightly in the blanket. Luo Luoli's big eyes sparkled. She thought that she would not be able to sleep with such a tense mood. Unexpectedly, she fell asleep unknowingly. After Gu Linchen came out of the shower, he saw Luo Luoli lying on the edge of the bed. She looked like she was about to fall off. He got on the bed and hugged her directly to the middle of the bed. Luo Luoli squirmed a little, but did not wake up. Her little yellow face made her look like a tabby cat. She was so cute and defenseless. Gu Linshin looked at her peaceful, sleeping face. Not to mention Luo Luoli. He did not expect that he would actually marry Luo Luoli. In the past, he had never thought about marriage. He did not have feelings for any woman. He did not even need to solve his physical needs. As for Tang Bao, he just wanted to see if Di Haoyan's woman was really worth Di Haoyan's attention. He only had that kind of impulse in front of Luo Luoli, and it was very strong. However, now that Luo Luoli was preparing for the college entrance examination, it seemed that he had to endure it a little longer. Gu Linshin lifted the blanket, revealing her body in pajamas. Luo Luoli was completely unaware of such a shameless act and was still sleeping soundly. Gu Linshin's eyes darkened. Could such a young girl withstand him? He really wanted to destroy it. On Sunday, Tang Bao did not go to the company. Instead, he was in the castle. Di Haoyan was also there. However, one of them was inside, while the other was outside on the swing. After last time, they had been in a cold war. Di Haoyan did his own things, and Tang Bao did not talk to Di Haoyan. Even if the two of them ate at the same table, they ate in silence. There was no communication at all. Was there any need to communicate? They were already living separately. Tang Bao sometimes thought that if Di Haoyan destroyed all the things that he had left for her in the past, would it mean that the two of them had reached the end? When thinking about this, Tang Bao's heart ached terribly. She could not bear to. She wanted to tell herself that Di Haoyan had amnesia and was sick. Why couldn't she be more understanding and accommodating? It would be fine when he recovered. However, Di Junbai said that what if it was like for the rest of their lives? Yes, what if it was like for the rest of their lives? Tang Bao was very confused and helpless. Young madam, someone is looking for you. Zhongli ran over. Tang Bao blinked the bitterness in her eyes, looked at Zhongli, and asked, "Who is it?" Tang Bao walked into the living room and saw Luo Luoli sitting on the sofa. She looked at her with a nervous gaze. "Why are you looking at me like this?" Tang Bao walked over and sat down on the sofa as she asked, "Have you seen any news recently?" Luo Luoli asked. Not to mention that Tang Bao had been in such a mess with Di Haoyan recently, she was not in the mood. Even in the past, she did not pay attention to any news. "No, what's wrong?" Luo Luoli heaved a sigh of relief, but then she looked worried again. "You are homeless?" Tang Bao asked. When she heard the word home, Luo Luoli's body trembled 3 times. "Tang Bao, how are you and the young master?" Luo Luoli suddenly asked. "It's the same as before. Why don't you stop being with him?" Luo Luoli said. "You came here to tell me this?" Tang Bao asked. She felt that it was not that simple. Luo Luoli came here specifically to tell her not to be with Di Haoyan. "As a friend, of course I'm doing this for your own good. How about it?" Tang Bao was about to say something when she saw a tall figure appear not far behind Luo Luoli, causing her expression to change. Luo Luoli, who could not see, was completely unaware of the danger lurking in the dark. "Since you've dumped the young master, I'll introduce you to a better one," Luo Luoli said. Tang Bao's little heart skipped a beat. She looked at Di Haoyan's cold and unmoving eyes and could not help but give Luo Luoli a look. Luo Luoli was completely unaware and continued to persuade her. "Look at how heartless he is to you after he lost his memory. He's already lucky that you're still with him. Do you want to know who I'm introducing to you?" Tang Bao shook her head seriously. However, Luo Luoli could not see her shaking her head and said, "It's my uncle, Gu Linshin." Chapter 541. Didn't my little uncle like you in the past? Although he doesn't mention it now, it's probably because the young master is his friend and he's too embarrassed to mention it. As long as you say the word, he'll definitely take you away. Or do you want to chase after him? Tang Bao, what's wrong with your eyes? God bless. Luo Luoli finally realized that something was wrong. Tang Bao held her forehead weakly. She wanted to tell Luo Luoli directly, who knew that Di Haoyan would give her a sharp look and shut her up. Thus, Luo Luoli began to talk nonstop. Also, was she sure that she wasn't here to harm her? Di Haoyan's face was as scary as hell at this moment. Luo Luoli also seemed to sense the scary factor in the air. Looking at Tang Bao, covering her face with both hands and looking like she wanted to find a place to hide, and thinking about her twitching eyes just now, Luo Luoli slowly turned around. When she saw the black figure, she was so scared that her heart stopped for 2 seconds. That, I still have something to do. I'll leave first. Luo Luoli stood up and ran. Before she could run out of the hall, she was stopped. Luo Luoli looked at the man in black who was a head taller than her and looked at Tang Bao pleadingly. Tang Bao wiped her face with her hand, stood up, and looked at Di Haotian. She's just talking nonsense. There's no need to take it seriously. It seems that there are many men who are related to you. Di Haotian's dark eyes were malicious. My brothers, friends, bodyguards, you want all of them. Then it's not too much for me to want Lan Wanru, right? Tang Bao's lips moved slightly. Her chest hurt so much that her breathing was a little unstable. You promised me that you wouldn't have anything to do with Lan Wanru. Did you do it? Di Haotian's voice was stern. I've already explained it to you. He Ju likes Wan Malay. Di Junbai and I were friends before you. Yes, I used to like him. But after marrying you, I realized that my love for Di Junbai is not love. I just want to be with you. Why can't you understand? Tang Bao's eyes were filled with tears. After so many days of Cold War, she could no longer control the grievances in her heart. As for Gu Linshan, just as Tang Bao was at a loss for words, Luo Luoli raised her hand and added, Gu Linshan is my husband. Di Haotian and Tang Bao both looked over. Tang Bao's gaze was shocked, Di Haotian's gaze was sharp, and Luo Luoli retracted her hand in embarrassment. She was helping Tang Bao to explain and make up for her mistake just now. It shouldn't be a problem, right? Don't talk nonsense. Another low voice sounded. Gu Linshan, who was outside the hall, looked coldly at the bodyguard who was blocking the way. Can you make way? Or do you want me to do it? The bodyguard instinctively moved aside. Gu Linshan walked into the hall and looked around. Luo Luoli looked at Gu Linshan in surprise. Why was he here? And what did he mean by what he said just now? Don't talk nonsense. She was just telling the truth. He was the one who forced her to marry him, wasn't he? Gu Linshan looked at Di Haotian and their dark eyes met. Both of them were not to be trifled with, and their auras were fierce. You should recover your memory. Then you will know the relationship between Tang Bao and me. Oh, right. In the past, when you weren't around, Tang Bao and I were in your bedroom. Gu Linshan paused, as if deliberately causing a misunderstanding. He looked at Tang Bao, who was staring at him in disbelief, and asked, You don't remember? The back of my hand is bruised because of you. Of course, Tang Bao remembered that time, but she was still sleeping in, and in a daze, she thought that the person was Di Haotian. But when it came from Gu Linshan's mouth, it sounded as if she was doing something with Gu Linshan, and then she couldn't help but pinch him. Tang Bao didn't dare to look at Di Haotian's expression. The terrible pressure in the air had already explained everything. At this moment, she just wanted to chop Gu Linshan into pieces. This person either didn't appear or deliberately twisted the facts to make the conflict between her and Di Haotian deeper. They hadn't even reconciled yet. This was one disaster after another. All right, you guys have a good chat. We're leaving. Gu Linshan hugged Luo Luoli, who was in a daze and was about to leave. Di Haotian's lips curled into a frighteningly cold smile. You still want to leave? Gu Linshan's expression changed slightly. He looked coldly at Di Haotian and said, I'm afraid it's not up to you or me. When I came in, I thought I saw Lan Wanru. As soon as he finished speaking, Lan Wanru entered the hall. He didn't understand the atmosphere in the hall, especially Di Haotian's expression, which was extremely cold. Di Haotian's expression changed slightly when he saw Lan Wanru enter. Gu Linshan didn't say anything and left with Luo Luoli. Tang Bao looked at Lan Wanru. Should she thank her for appearing at this moment? Could she calm Di Haotian's anger? Tang Bao didn't want to say a word. He turned and left. You're not going to explain? Di Haotian's low and intimidating voice came from behind. Tang Bao paused. He didn't say anything and went upstairs. Di Haotian's expression was as cold as an ice house. The aura he exuded was so terrifying that no one dared to approach him. Brother Hao Tian, Lan Wanru couldn't help but say. You go back first. Di Hao Tian finished speaking and left the hall. Tang Bao went back to his room. He walked to the window and pressed his head against it. The coldness seeped into his forehead, but it didn't stop the tears from flowing. One by one, they dripped down. She had to explain. She had explained so much that even she was starting to feel tired. The door was slammed shut. Tang Bao's body trembled. Just as he turned around, he felt a black shadow in front of him. He was pressed against the window. Tang Bao felt the pain in his back. He frowned and looked at the sharp face in front of him. His black eyes were filled with malice. Di Hao Tian, let go of me. His collarbone was restrained by Di Hao Tian's hand. Even if Tang Bao's hands were free, he couldn't break free from Di Hao Tian's strength. Di Hao Tian, explain. Di Hao Tian was furious and exerted more force. Tang Bao felt that his collarbone was about to be broken. He gasped for breath. Don't you think I'm explaining too much? Will you believe me if I explain? Then I'll explain. Shut up, Di Hao Tian growled. The pain in his heart made him feel like an injured beast. Is this the first time you betrayed me? Let me see how despicable you are. Di Hao Tian, what are you doing? Tang Bao asked in horror. Di Hao Tian didn't say anything. He used his actions to answer him. The hand holding his collarbone pulled and tore Tang Bao's shirt from top to bottom. Tang Bao couldn't believe it. Di Hao Tian, are you crazy? Chapter 542. Di Hao Tian's eyes were bloodshot. He grabbed Tang Bao and threw her to the sofa next to him. Even though her body was not in pain, Tang Bao still felt dizzy and saw stars. Before she could regain her senses, the rest of her clothes were torn to shreds. Di Hao Tian, you devil! Tang Bao screamed. She lifted her leg to kick him, but both her legs were pinned down by Di Hao Tian. Her bones were almost broken. Ugh! Di Hao Tian. When she noticed the changes in Di Hao Tian's body, Tang Bao was so frightened that she reached out and grabbed him. The veins on Di Hao Tian's forehead twitched. His voice was gloomy. Let go! You let go of me first. Tang Bao felt that her hand was about to be burned. Normally, she would not have done such a bold thing. She was really forced into a corner. As long as you let go of me, I'll let go. Are you negotiating with me? Di Hao Tian sneered. His dark eyes were fierce. Then he grabbed Tang Bao's wrist. Tang Bao's whole arm suddenly went numb, and she let go. Then she felt a sharp pain in her body. Her face turned pale. It took her a few seconds to catch her breath. Are you like this with Di Junbai too? Did I not satisfy you in the past? Di Hao Tian's face was full of anger. Tang Bao's face was pale. Even her small hands that were holding the sofa were white. It was as if all her blood was drained away under Di Hao Tian's torture. Tears of pain fell from the corners of her eyes. Di Hao Tian, you'll regret this. Tang Bao had no strength to struggle. She let Di Hao Tian ravage her. Di Hao Tian walked downstairs with a cold face. Lan Wanru was still sitting below. She had been sitting here for the entire afternoon. When she saw Di Hao Tian coming downstairs, she walked up to him with a pale face. Brother Hao Tian, are you all right? Didn't I tell you to go back? I was worried about you, so I'll send you back. Yes. Lan Wanru sat in Di Hao Tian's car. Di Hao Tian didn't say a word. His dark eyes looked out of the car window, as if he was the only person in the car. The atmosphere was naturally extremely oppressive. Lan Wanru had been sitting in the great hall of the castle for a long time, and Di Hao Tian hadn't come downstairs for a long time. Although she hadn't heard anything, she knew what was going on. Jealousy, embarrassment, pain, they all surrounded her. She would rather be that person. She was willing to be ravaged by Di Hao Tian. As long as Di Hao Tian wanted her, it was unknown how much time had passed since it ended. The room was so quiet that one could hear the wind blowing through the window. Tang Bao was lying on the sofa. Her body was covered with dark red marks. There were no tears in her clear eyes. She stared blankly ahead. It wasn't until there was a knock on the door that Tang Bao's eyes moved. When she got up from the sofa, Tang Bao felt that she might as well die. Her whole face was scrunched up in pain, and she was trembling all over. It took her a while to get used to it before she could continue to move. She picked up the torn clothes on the ground to cover her body and went to the cloakroom. In the cloakroom, Tang Bao saw the marks on her body. She was so scared that her eyes trembled, and she immediately looked away. She put on her pajamas. It was as if nothing had happened as long as she covered it up. After putting on her pajamas, she went to open the door. Zhongli was standing outside the door. Zhongli was shocked when he saw Tang Bao's face. He thought that he had seen a pale ghost. Young madam, are you okay? What's wrong? Tang Bao asked. As soon as she spoke, her throat was hoarse. But she didn't care. In the castle, who didn't know how cold Di Haoyan was to her? It's time for dinner. I'm not hungry, Tang Bao said and closed the door. Zhongli wanted to say something, but the words were stuck in his throat. After Tang Bao returned to the bedroom, she lay on the bed. She had only walked a short distance, but her body felt so uncomfortable that it made her break out in a cold sweat. After Zhongli returned downstairs, he grabbed Lian and asked, "What should we do? What should we do? Will something happen to young madam? You didn't see young madam's appearance just now. Her hair was messy, her eyes were lifeless, her face was pale, and she was wearing white pajamas. She looked so miserable. How could young master treat young madam like this?" "Young master has already gone out," Lian said. "I know. It's good that he went out. Why did he treat young madam like this? Isn't that young master's friend? Why would he say something like that?" She heard Gu Linshin's words clearly. "Don't talk nonsense," Lian scolded her. Zhongli reluctantly shut his mouth. After 10 minutes, because she was too worried about Tang Bao, she ran upstairs with a heated dinner in her hand. "Knock on the door." Zhongli instructed the maid beside him when he reached the door. The maid raised her hand and knocked on the door. After knocking, she waited. After waiting for a while, there was no response. She knocked again and waited. Tang Bao was sleeping soundly on the bed. From time to time, he heard someone knocking on the door. He got up from the bed sleepily and went to open the door. When the door opened, Zhongli immediately smiled and said, "Young madam, are you sleeping? Why don't you eat something before you sleep? Sleeping is more important than eating now. We'll talk about it when I wake up." Tang Bao was about to close the door. When the door was about to close, he reiterated, "Stop knocking. Be careful of my temper." Then he slammed the door shut. Zhongli, who was standing outside the door, thought that it shouldn't be a problem, right? It looked like she was really sleeping. If that was the case, she wouldn't disturb her. Let her have a good sleep. So she went downstairs with the dinner. Tang Bao slept until 10 o'clock the next morning. She was woken up by her phone. After sleeping for an entire night, she felt like she was alive. She didn't sit up. She just lay there and picked up the phone. She looked at the caller ID and answered, "I won't be going to the company today. Help me tell you, Lian. You're not up yet?" "No." "So, I won't be going to the company. Are you okay?" Wan Malay asked. "What can happen to me?" Tang Bao tried to cover it up. "It's best if you're okay. I'm just asking. You can get up and have lunch." "Okay, I'll get up now." After hanging up the phone, Tang Bao lay on the bed lazily and looked at the sunlit curtains in a daze. She didn't want to stay in the castle anymore. Every time she was hurt, she would use Di Haoyan's amnesia as an excuse. She felt that it wasn't Di Haoyan's fault. However, did she have to be hurt endlessly because of amnesia? Why didn't Di Haoyan hurt Lan Wanru? Why did it have to be her? Tang Bao was never someone who would be bullied. She had suffered so much injustice and hurt by Di Haoyan's side, especially after he lost his memory. She couldn't believe that she was the one who was hurt. Was this still her? Chapter 543. She came downstairs with her backpack. Zhongli immediately went up to her. "Young madam, you're up? Lunch is ready. Let's go eat now." If there was anyone who gave her the most warmth in the castle during this time, it was Zhongli was probably the only one. Tang Bao looked at Zhongli, then went up to her and hugged her. "I'm not eating." Zhongli didn't understand. Why did he hug her if he wasn't eating? Tang Bao let go of her, looked at Zhongli, and said, I won't live in the castle from today onwards. If Di Haotian asks, just tell him that I'm going back to live with the Tang family. As she said this, she wanted to laugh. But I don't think Di Haotian will ask. I'm leaving. Take care. Young madam. Zhongli was shocked and called out to her. Tang Bao didn't look back and walked straight out. The spring sun wasn't dazzling, but her eyes hurt. It was as if they were going to be burned by the sun. She walked out the door. She looked back at the huge Di Haotian. She knew that if she left, Di Haotian would never let her in again, but she still wanted to leave. She was really scared of him. Tea group. Hiju walked into the office. As soon as he entered, he felt as if he was surrounded by cold air. The whole atmosphere was low. Di Haotian, who was dealing with affairs behind the desk, had no expression on his face, but his aura was so frightening that people didn't dare to approach him. Young master, young madam has returned to the Tang family. Hiju received a call from the castle. Di Haotian's hands paused. His expression didn't change, but his black eyes were even colder and more frightening. If you leave, never come back. Hiju didn't say anything. He nodded and left the office. Di Haotian gripped the pen so hard that the veins on the back of his hand bulged and twisted. Tang Bao took the initiative to leave. He didn't need to say anything. This was better, but he couldn't control the anger in his heart. As if he cared a lot. Impossible. He wouldn't care. A woman like that wasn't worth his attention. With a snap, the expensive fountain pen broke in half. When Tang Bao returned to the Tang family, he did not expect that the servant was still there. The maid seemed surprised to see her. Tang Bao knew who hired this servant, thinking about whether or not to change it. On second thought, he realized that he was overthinking things. How could the current Di Haotian have such thoughts? In his eyes, there was only Lan Wanru. When he returned to his room and saw the broken bed in his room, he sighed deeply. It seemed she would have to change her bed. In the future, she would be living here for a long time. After Lan Wanru returned home, he didn't stay long before he went to the bungalow to look for Yu Songwan. Why are you here? I came from the castle. What happened in the castle? Yu Songwan asked. I was going to visit Brother Hao Ian, but I bumped into Gu Linshin. We were talking. What were you talking about? He said that he used to take advantage of Brother Hao Ian's absence to be with Tang Bao in their room. Gu Linshin said that his hand had been pinched by Tang Bao until it turned purple. Lan Wanru seemed to find it difficult to speak. When Yu Songhuan heard this, he felt as if a knife had pierced his heart. Her son had been humiliated like this. He was so angry that he was about to cry. Aunt, don't be like this. If I'm like this, I won't tell you in the future. You have to take care of your body. Lan Wanru hurriedly comforted. I didn't expect. By the time we found out, I don't know how disgusting it was. Lan Wanru looked at Yu Songhuan's angry face and said, then they quarreled inside. Then Brother Hao Ian sent me home. I don't know what happened after that. I'm just worried about Brother Hao Ian. You're worried about him, but as his mother, I'm even more worried, Yu Songhuan said bitterly. I told him before that we should get a divorce, but he didn't listen to me. Then what do we do now? Lan Wanru asked. He lost his memory. There are a lot of things that he can't handle properly. I can only help him. I definitely can't tolerate a woman like Tang Bao who doesn't know how to behave. She's the biggest disgrace in the history of the Di family. Lan Wanru lowered her eyes, and a triumphant smile flashed across her face. She didn't need to do anything. Naturally, someone would do it for her. She didn't believe that she couldn't deal with Tang Bao. After eating lunch, Tang Bao went to buy a bed with the driver. After choosing, she wanted to buy some clothes back. Then, she went to the designer store. Ling Tang Bao stood outside the shop and stared blankly. Her lonely figure was reflected in the mirror. Back then, Di Hao Ian bought this brand and gave it to her. It belonged to her. Most of the things in the past were beautiful. She thought that she didn't care. Now, she realized that everything was too beautiful and she couldn't see it clearly. She thought that perhaps everything that Di Hao Ian gave her from the beginning was something that she couldn't afford. The store door opened and the store manager walked over to greet her. Hello, do you want to go in and take a look? It's a new design that just came out recently. There are clothes, shoes, bags, and so on. It seemed that he knew who she was. No, I'm just passing by. Tang Bao smiled and turned to leave. When Tang Bao returned home, the bed was already set up. The delivery staff had already left. Tang Bao took out clean sheets and blankets and laid them on the bed. After that, she lay down on the bed. She hadn't recovered the strength that Di Hao Ian had drained her. She must be very tired after going shopping. Perhaps this was a good thing. There was no need to think too much. She slept until it was almost time for dinner. Tang Bao got up from the bed and felt that his body was lazy. She walked to the window and caught sight of someone approaching the door. Why was Wang Malay here? He must have known that she was here. How did he know? Tang Bao turned around and went downstairs. When she saw Wang Malay enter the hall, she couldn't help but scratch her head. Are there lice on your head? Wang Malay asked angrily. There are fleas. I asked you if there was something wrong, and you said no. If there wasn't, why did you stay at the Tang family's house? Wang Malay was angry just thinking about it. If Ju didn't tell me, I wouldn't have known. I didn't know that Ju was also a gossipy person. Tang Bao sat down on the sofa. Wang Malay looked at Tang Bao's lazy look and asked, Were you tortured by the young master? Tang Bao was stunned. How did you know? Look at your neck. Those who don't know would think that it was very passionate. Tang Bao suddenly remembered that she didn't wear a coat. The collar inside was low and there was nothing to hide. She quickly stood up and went upstairs to get her clothes to wear. Wang Malay, looking at that figure, she was furious just thinking about it. No wonder he called her. She had just woken up. Now, it was obvious that she had just woken up. After putting on her coat, Tang Bao came down and said to the servant beside her, There are guests at home. Is the food ready? The servant was about to say something when Wang Malay asked first. Is it enough for 2 people? Yes, the servant said. Then she went down. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.